Chapter 4363. Have you decided on a specific time? The second elder asked. More or less, but not a specific time. However, Xiong-yi and the others are all nascent soul cultivators. Although their disciples have disguised themselves and sneaked into the Thousand Demons' sacred territory, they should be faster than me. Ingpe answered, therefore, we need to discuss this matter quickly. The longer we delay, the easier it is for Bai Qingyu to discover them. We understand. The first elder nodded. He pondered for a moment before saying, in this old man's opinion, the Patriarch's decision to work with the Soaring Dragon Mountain Range's disciples was the best decision. Now that several thousand of our people are here, it will be troublesome if we continue to work with them. Ingpe naturally knew about Great Elder's private thoughts, but he didn't blame him. He nodded and said, Great Elder is right. I'll write a Jade Eye Scroll and have a reliable disciple send it over. We'll just set a time to launch a surprise attack on Bai Qingyu. Hearing Ingpe's advice, the Great Elder was even more delighted. He echoed, these disciples of the Soaring Dragon Mountain Range are all humans. I'm afraid it's inconvenient for them to move around in the Thousand Demons' sacred realm. Patriarch, why don't you send a few dozen elite disciples to lead the way for them? Very good. Ingpe nodded with a smile. Just as he was about to give the order, he noticed something was wrong and asked in a low voice, where are the seventh and ninth elders? Oh. A trace of embarrassment appeared on the first elder's face as he answered. This old man was afraid that there would be no one to deal with the matters in the merchant union, so I left them behind. Ingpe didn't mind. He was very clear in his heart. If a palm stretched out, 5 fingers wouldn't be the same. He couldn't expect the elders to think the same way as him. In less than half a cup of tea's time, Ingpe had selected the people to contact the Fortune Gate's disciples. He also gave them the Jade Eye pendant he had written, and gave them some instructions before sending them away. Ingpe then discussed with the elders on how to rescue Xiaohua from the jaws of death. Under the night sky, several dozen demonic beast clans set off again. They were heading towards a vast forest in the Thousand Demons' sacred territory. At this time, at the edge of the forest, there were already a few bird-type demons flapping their wings and circling in the sky. These demons were different from ordinary demons. They did not fly far away, only a few dozen miles away. Whenever there was any movement, they would leave and land to investigate carefully. The moon fell, and the stars were sparse. Dawn gradually appeared in the east. A few beast-like monsters slowly flew out from the mountain ridge in the distance. After these monsters flew out, they didn't directly fly forward. Instead, they scattered. After half a cup of tea's worth of time, another dozen or so human cultivators flew out from the mountain ridge. These human cultivators all held magic treasures in their hands and looked very cautious. After these human cultivators flew past, even more human cultivators flew out. Caw. A few birds in the sky saw this and let out a few low cries. Except for one bird that was still circling in the sky, the others all rushed down and flew towards these human cultivators. When the birds landed, a nascent soul cultivator in a Taoist robe flew out from the mountain ridge. This nascent soul cultivator had a red face, a pair of broom-like eyebrows, and a pair of leopard-shaped eyes. He looked very powerful without being angry. Behind this nascent soul cultivator, there was a pigeon bird that was about 2 zhang in size following closely behind. Wasn't this nascent soul cultivator Changyu, who was still a late-stage gold core cultivator when Xiaohua left the Soaring Dragon Mountain Range? Apart from being a lot younger, this Changyu's appearance didn't change much from before. Caw-caw. Once the pigeon bird flew out, it immediately cawed and rushed into the sky, as if it wanted to meet up with the other birds in the distance. As soon as the pigeon moved, Changyu was startled. In order to not attract the attention of the demonic beasts, he didn't dare to release his divine sense too much. Changyu was about to stop the pigeon, but when he saw the bird in the sky, a smile appeared on his face. He muttered to himself, I've wronged you during this period of time. I'll let you have some fun. As he spoke, Changyu had already released his divine sense. A moment later, another divine sense swept across the sea of trees in the distance. Seeing this, Changyu let out a long laugh and turned his head, saying, Disciples, there are already Fortune Gate's disciples ahead. This place is already safe. Let's hurry over and meet up with your senior Uncle Lon and senior Uncle Xiong Yi. The dozens of gold core disciples in the surroundings were already pale. Their Taoist robes were tattered and blood-stained. It was obvious that they had encountered many demonic beasts and demonic beasts along the way. When they heard Chang Yu's words, they were overjoyed. No longer hiding, they spurred their figures and flew into the distance. Chang Yu wasn't in a hurry. He waited until the several thousand disciples had flown away before he turned into a streak of light and landed in the sea of trees. Before he could land, he saw another cloud flying out from the forest. On that cloud was Xiaohua's other disciple, His Highness Lon. His Highness Lon was no different from when Xiaohua left. Seeing Chang Yu fly away, he smiled and said, "Junior brother Chang, you've worked hard. Greetings, senior brother." Chang Yu didn't dare to be negligent. His figure appeared in the streak of light, and he bowed respectfully from afar. Junior brother is not tired. Junior brother thanks senior brother for coming to greet me. You're welcome. His Highness Lon helped Chang Yu up and said with a smile, "You and I are senior brother. Why be so polite?" "Yes, senior brother's teachings are right," Chang Yu replied. His tone was as respectful as ever. Although His Highness Lon and Chang Yu were both Xiaohua's disciples, His Highness Lon was already a nascent soul disciple when he entered the Fortune Gate, while Chang Yu was only a late-stage gold core disciple. After Xiaohua left, the Fortune Gate was led by Li Xiong, Xiong Yi, and Lon. The three of them were in charge of the Fortune Gate's affairs. Chang Yu later cultivated painstakingly and often received guidance from the three nascent soul senior brothers. Only then did he step into the nascent soul realm. In these 200 years, the Fortune Gate was divided into 3 factions, just like Xiaohua's plan. Chang Yu was the last to enter the Fortune Gate. Although he had also accepted disciples, most of them were below the gold core realm. If he wanted to compete with the 3 nascent soul senior brothers, he was still too weak. Most of the disciples he brought to the Thousand Demons sacred grounds were Li Xiang's disciples. His disciples were left behind in the soaring Dragon Mountain range. As he spoke, Chang Yu looked around and asked curiously, "Where's senior brother Xiong Yi? Why isn't he here yet?" "Hee, that's right." A trace of confusion appeared on His Highness Lan's face. "Previously, I received a message from a flying beast. I thought senior brother Xiong had arrived. Who knew that you would be one step ahead of me? Senior brother Xiong must have encountered some powerful demonic beast, right?" "That's right," Chang Yu replied with lingering fear. "Previously, I always heard that the Thousand Demons sacred grounds was a demonic beast clan's sacred grounds, and it was definitely not a place that humans could enter. However, after today's trip, I found out that those words were not false. In fact, there were some reservations. Without a cultivation of 5th grade origin force, it's impossible to enter the Thousand Demons sacred grounds freely. Up until now, I've lost more than 40% of my disciples. How can one achieve 5th grade origin force?" His Highness Lon was also worried. He replied, "One has to be at least a mid-6th grade origin force to succeed." 6th grade origin force? Chang Yu smiled bitterly. "That's the spirit severing realm. I don't even dare to think about it." "That's right." His Highness Lon turned to look at Bai Qingyu and said in a low voice, "The future of this trip is uncertain. Not to mention the astral projection realm. We don't even know if we can step onto the hidden immortal mainland again. There are some paths that we can choose not to take, but there are some paths that we have to take even though we know it's a dead end." Chang Yu narrowed his eyes and said resolutely, "Even if there's fear in your heart, let's toughen up. Let our hearts be numb." "Junior brother is right." His Highness Lon smiled and looked at the rising sun. "Sometimes, we have to make some choices. Although this decision is a little difficult, I don't think this decision is difficult at all. Master's kindness to us is as heavy as a mountain. All these years, Master hasn't returned to the mountain. I didn't expect that he would be imprisoned by the Bai Qingyu demon clan." Chang Yu continued, "After hearing this news, I couldn't sleep at night. If we don't save Master, I'll die in Bai Qingyu with Master. Senior brother Xiong should be here by now, right?" His Highness Lon turned to another mountain ridge and asked with a frown, "That's right. He should have arrived yesterday, right?" Chang Yu looked at the mountain ridge worriedly. he should have met with some danger. His Highness Lan seemed to have made a decision. He turned and said, "Junior brother Chong, you rest here first. I'll bring a few disciples over to take a look. I'll go too." Chong Yu said without hesitation. "Although I've just stepped into the nascent soul realm, I can still be of help. Junior brother, you've just arrived. You should rest first. Besides, if both of us go, who's going to keep watch here?" His Highness Lan didn't want Chong Yu to go. Chong Yu hesitated for a moment and shook his head. "Senior brother's disciples can keep watch here. I'll go with senior brother to welcome senior brother Xiong." "All right." His Highness Lan nodded helplessly and led Chong Yu into the forest. After a while, 2 nascent soul cultivators led a dozen late-stage golden core disciples and flew toward a mountain ridge. Past the mountain ridge was a dangerous place. The mountain ridge was full of cliffs. Not only was there no vegetation on the mountain, there weren't even complete rocks. The river between the mountain ridge was also emitting a fishy smell. There were many whirlpools and white foam in the river water. Sharp stones were stepping out of the river surface. Not long after, there would be fish floating up from the bottom of the river with their bellies upside down. Chong Yu's gaze swept over the place. His expression didn't change. He released his divine sense to look into the distance. He knew that it was because of this dangerous place that there were fewer demonic beasts. Xiongyi had to bring thousands of disciples through this place safely. After flying for another half a cup of tea, they didn't see Xiongyi's figure. Similarly, they didn't see any demonic beasts. Chong Yu and the others appeared in a dark pool. The surface of the pool was covered with a layer of strange algae, which was iron-black in color. Between the algae, there were lotus pod-like demonic herbs poking out of the pool. Some of the lotus pods were very small, only the size of a fist, while some were extremely large, at least a few feet long. Some of these lotus pod heads were blooming, while others were wrapped. There were many more. Chapter 43-64. Chong Yu didn't seem to mind. His gaze swept across the sky, and his figure continued to streak across the sky. At this time, Prince Lan suddenly slowed down. He turned around and asked, "Junior brother Chong, I suddenly thought of something and wanted to ask junior brother." "Hee, senior brother, please speak." Chong Yu answered without hesitation, "Do you think it's not worth it for us to send out the entire Fortune Gate to save Master?" Chong Yu was stunned. He asked in confusion, "What does senior brother mean?" There's nothing else. Just like you, even though I arrived a few days earlier, I encountered many demonic beasts and demonic beast clans along the way. 40% of the disciples I lead have been killed. Moreover, according to the investigation of the demons in the sect, Bai Qingyu was an extremely dangerous place in the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm, just like the information from the Luo E Merchant Union. That demonic beast king has the strength of an 8th grade origin Qi realm cultivator, and even Master has been imprisoned by that demonic beast king. If we go there, wouldn't it be like hitting a rock with an egg? AI, that's right. Chong Yu nodded. Even though Master is powerful and can definitely reach the 7th or 8th grade origin Qi realm in the future, he is still too young. He can't compare to the demonic beast clans in the 1,000 demonic sacred grounds who have lived for hundreds of thousands of years. Moreover, our Fortune Gate's foundation is too weak, and we can't compare to Bai Qingyu. Moreover, the soaring Dragon Mountain Range has been discovered by the Immortal Palace, and they are about to launch a punitive expedition against our Fortune Gate. If we don't focus on resisting the Immortal Palace and look for reinforcements, even if we manage to save Master, he might not be happy, right? Chong Yu was taken aback. He stopped and raised his head to look at Prince Lan. He asked curiously, "Junior brother doesn't understand senior brother's words. The Fortune Gate is Master's Fortune Gate, and we are all Master's disciples. If we don't come to Master's rescue when he's in trouble, can we still be considered Master's disciples? Moreover, even though our Fortune Gate is facing the Immortal Palace, if we rescue Master, with Master's ability, wouldn't the soaring Dragon Mountain Range be the same as the Black Wind Ridge? We can make a comeback." "How confident do you think we are in rescuing Master?" Prince Lan asked with a smile. Chong Yu answered without any hesitation, "Less than 5%. Yeah." Prince Lan pointed at the golden core disciples behind him and sneered, these Golden Core disciples and the tens of thousands of Golden Core and Foundation establishment disciples in the forest are bait. Their deaths will attract Bai Qingyu's demons, while we and the other demons in the sect will take advantage of the chaos to find where Master is imprisoned. This plan is not bad, but has Junior Brother ever thought about it? Were the lives of these Golden Core disciples not worth their lives? Was Bai Qingyu an ordinary place? An 8th grade origin Qi Realm Beast King. Even if there are 10 masters, even if all of our Fortune Gates disciples were to gang up on him, they still wouldn't be a match for one of his fingers. Hiss. Changyu shivered and was shocked. He hurriedly looked around and flew away to put some distance between him and His Highness Lan. Then, he said coldly, His Highness Lan, what do you mean by that? Don't tell me. You don't want to save Master? Changyu. Prince Lan didn't press the issue. Instead, he shook his head and said, It's not that I don't want to save Master. The problem was that this so-called banquet was obviously a trap, and it was obviously meant to lure us into the trap. Since we knew it was a trap, why would we walk right into it? Master's enemy is an 8th grade origin Qi Realm Beast King, and he has been suppressed by this Beast King for close to 200 years. Even if we rescue him, he would already be a cripple. Moreover, it's impossible for us to rescue him. Damn it. Changyu understood that they were far from 100 zhang away. He cursed angrily. People often say that you can know a person's face, but not his heart. Prince Lan, I really didn't expect you to be such a person. What did you say in front of Master back then? For the Fortune Gate. Haha, I understand now. Yes, you're right. You're willing to pay any price for the Fortune Gate. But the price you have to pay for this sacrifice is Master and the affection between us senior and junior brothers. What you have to give up is a person's conscience. Speaking up to here, Changyu took a deep breath and looked at Prince Lan again. He advised earnestly, Senior brother, I know that this is just a spur-of-the-moment idea. You're thinking too much because you've seen too many Fortune Gate disciples die. As long as you agree to return now and save Master with me, I can make a blood oath to pretend that nothing happened today. You're wrong. Prince Lan shook his head slightly and said, When the Continuous Merchant Union sent the news, I already thought of this. In the 200 years since Master left, our Fortune Gate has changed a lot. Others may not know, but we know very well. We are already the backbone of the hidden, immortal mainland's Tao sects. Our Fortune Gate only needs to develop for a few hundred years, and we will definitely become the most important force to resist the Confucian cultivators. But in order to save Master, everything has to be turned to ashes. Everything we've done for the past few hundred years will turn into flowing water. I think it's really not worth it. Moreover, my Fortune Gate disciple is still going to throw his life away when Master has already been killed. It's even more unwise. Fine. Changyu's face was ashen. He raised his hand and said, If you don't want to go, Master, you can leave. I definitely won't say a word to Senior Brother Xiong and Senior Brother Li. But, please, don't stop me from saving Master. Impossible. Prince Lan still shook his head. Ha ha ha, I understand. Changyu looked up to the sky and laughed. What you said is not what you're thinking. What you want is the entire Fortune Gate. It's your selfish desire to take the Fortune Gate for yourself that makes you so crazy. You want little brother to be buried here. You don't want little brother to leave alive, do you? Since you know, then I won't hide it from you. Prince Lan replied indifferently. Actually, this trap was left for Xiong Yi. You can't see it in my eyes. But since you came first, you can't live. Otherwise, I don't have the confidence to deal with you and Xiong Yi. Goo. Without waiting for Prince Lan to finish, Changyu waved his hand. The pigeon let out a shrill cry and rushed towards Prince Lan, blocking his path. Changyu opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood essence. The blood essence landed on his body. Wong. Crimson light flickered around Changyu's body, and his face turned red. His whole body turned into a crimson light and soared into the sky. Humph! His Highness Lan didn't panic at all. He waved his right hand, and a giant hand appeared, immediately trapping the pigeon. Then, the giant hand grabbed the pigeon, and with a boom, the pigeon was crushed by the giant hand. Its flesh and feathers were blown into the pond by the wind. Changyu didn't have time to look. The crimson light had already shot up several dozen zhang. But seeing Prince Lan so calm, Changyu couldn't help but be vigilant. Unfortunately, just as he was alerted, a large hand flickering with tricolored light broke through the air from the dozen or so golden core disciples standing in the distance and grabbed at Changyu's body. Damn it! Changyu was really caught off guard. He was familiar with all of Prince Lan's golden core realm disciples. Although Prince Lan had already turned hostile, these golden core realm disciples were still some distance away from Changyu. Changyu also knew that these disciples were no match for him, so he didn't take any precautions. Now that the giant hand had already sealed the space around Changyu, how could Changyu not know that this was the attack of a nascent soul realm cultivator? He roared, "Prince Lan, you dare to collude with outsiders." While speaking, Changyu waved his hand and a golden light mixed with blood flew out and hit the giant hand. The giant hand's sealing power was great, but wherever the golden light landed, kacha, a series of crisp sounds could be heard. The sealing power around Changyu was shattered, and even a few fingers of the giant hand were destroyed. Seeing that the sealing power was about to collapse, there was a loud boom, and a seal several hundred feet in size flew out from the giant hand. The seal fell and smashed towards the golden light. Amidst the boom, the golden light was blocked, revealing a shuttle-shaped magic treasure. As for the seal, it was destroyed and kept rolling in the air. Looking at the shuttle-shaped magic treasure again, it only paused in the air for a moment. The bloody light on it flourished, and with a sound, it hit the seal again. Ka! A golden sound rang out, and the seal was broken in half by the shuttle-shaped magic treasure. Moreover, the power of the shuttle-shaped magic treasure did not decrease and still stabbed at the magic treasure behind the seal. Boom! The giant hand obviously could not withstand the sharpness of the magic treasure, and the fingers began to collapse. What a good Taoist chow! A voice rang out from behind the gold core disciples. Then, another crimson ring of light descended. The fluctuations on the ring of light were like boiling water, causing the surrounding space to tremble. After the flying magic treasure was enveloped by the fluctuations, it was like a spirit snake that had been struck by its weak point. No matter how hard it struggled, it was unable to break free. While Changyu urged the magic treasure, his figure did not hesitate at all and still turned into a bloody red color and rushed out of the pool. At this time, the voice laughed coldly and said, "Want to leave?" Along with this voice, another nascent soul giant hand fell out of the air and grabbed at Changyu like a meteor. Humph! Changyu did not care to see who it was. He rubbed his hands and several rays of light fell into the air, and layers of water ripples appeared in front of the giant hand. However, at this time, Changyu was suddenly shocked. His figure quickly rushed up, and with a wave of his hands, another ray of light fell below him. Unfortunately, before that ray of light could form, another giant hand several times larger than the previous one appeared below him. This giant hand was even more powerful than the previous one, and it grabbed Changyu. The strength of the giant hand was so great that Changyu's body was immediately crushed. Looking at the water ripples that Changyu had just used, they had already defeated the giant hand above him. Chapter 4365. It turned out that the giant hand above Changyu's head was only used to lure the enemy. It was only an empty shell, and Changyu had actually fallen into the enemy's trap. Changyu's body shattered, and as his flesh and blood scattered, a 1-foot-long crimson infant flew out from the top of Changyu's head. This nascent soul held a shuttle-shaped magic treasure in its hands, and its face was filled with anxiety. Just as the nascent soul was about to activate the magic treasure, the light from the magic treasure flickered several times, and the flying shuttle that was trapped by the halo could not escape. The nascent soul spat out a mouthful of true yuan, which landed on the flying shuttle in its hands. The heaven-earth yuan qi around the flying shuttle condensed into a hurricane, but unfortunately, the flying shuttle had just taken shape and could not fly out. The giant hand that tore through Changyu's body rose again, and once again enveloped Changyu's nascent soul. At this time, Changyu no longer cared about counterattacking. Instead, the light around his body flashed rapidly, and a small part of his body was rapidly disintegrating. It seemed that he wanted to use teleportation to escape. It was also at this time that Lan Wang opened his mouth. Swoosh! A sword-like golden light rushed out, and the golden light streaked across the sky. Pooh! It pierced into the nascent soul's body, and Chang Yu's nascent soul that had just disappeared reappeared, and it was rapidly shrinking towards the golden light. Then die. Chang Yu saw that he was no match for the enemy, and knew that there was no way out. Boom! His entire nascent soul exploded. Seeing this, Lan Wang urged the nascent soul's hand, and hurriedly shouted at the group of golden core cultivators, "Senior Qing Su, quick, don't let him attract the attention of others." Behind the golden core cultivators, spiritual master Qing Su's figure appeared, but he did not listen to Lan Wang's words. Instead, he raised his hand, and the dozen or so golden core cultivators who were unprepared were all caught by him, and their magic power was sealed. "Senior." Lan Wang was shocked. "What are you doing?" Spiritual master Qing Su did not answer Lan Wang at all. Instead, he waved his hand, and the dozen or so golden core cultivators were all thrown into the explosion of the nascent soul. Pa pa pa. A series of explosions sounded, and blood splattered everywhere. Minced flesh and broken limbs fell from the air, and pew, they fell into the pitch-black pool. Qing Su Jinren, what are you doing? Seeing that Chang Yu's nascent soul had disappeared in the wake of the shockwave, his nascent soul's hand had also collapsed from the explosion, and the entire pool had been blown up into the air along with the countless algae and lotus flowers. When the pool water fell back down, it was soaked in the blood of a dozen golden core cultivators. In the entire sky above the pool, other than himself, there was only Reverend Qing Su. Prince Lan could not help but say angrily. Taoist Master Qing Su did not answer. He raised his hand and pointed. The halo fell, and Chang Yu's flying shuttle fell into his hand. Spiritual Master Qing Su stroked the flying shuttle, which was still unyielding like a spirit snake, and sighed. Spiritual Master Xiao, oh Spiritual Master Xiao, you are indeed a genius. The magic weapon you casually gave to your disciple can be so powerful. This old man is truly impressed. Spiritual Master Qing Su opened his mouth, and a spiritual talisman fell down, imprisoning the flying shuttle and keeping it in his arms. Only then did he release his divine sense to check for a moment, and said to Prince Lan, "Since Chang Yu is in danger, how can you not be injured? Since you are injured, how can your disciples return alive? Moreover, these disciples have seen you kill your own junior brother. Do you think you can rest assured that they are still alive? But these are my trusted disciples that I have painstakingly cultivated." Prince Lan was really angry. "Hee, the entire fortune gate will be yours in the future. Do you still care about these small sacrifices?" Taoist Master Qing Su took out the universe ring from his bosom and threw some demon race corpses into the pool. He smiled and said, "Moreover, after you kill Xiong Yi and bring these disciples back to the hidden immortal mainland, not only will the Grand Mist Ancestor reward you, he will also send you more subordinates. These disciples today are nothing. I am not greedy for the Ancestor's reward. I just don't want the fortune gate that I have painstakingly built to be destroyed." Prince Lan was still angry. Spiritual Master Qing Su smiled and waved his hand. "There is no need to say any more. Chang Yu's death must have attracted the attention of the fortune gate's disciples. Moreover, Xiong Yi will be here soon. You better think of an explanation quickly." Humph. Prince Lan snorted coldly and didn't say anything. He knew that Spiritual Master Qing Su was telling the truth. However, he only flew for 1,000 feet before he cursed, "Damn it! How could Chang Yu arrive first? How could his death not arouse Xiong Yi's suspicion? How should I kill Xiong Yi? Moreover, why was this Chang Yu so stubborn? Master can't save him, so why can't he protect the fortune gate? Since you can't kill him, then follow the Ancestor's plan. Bring the disciples to attack by Qing Yu and find an opportunity during the battle. The Ancestor will also arrange for disciples to assist you. Even if you can't kill Xiong Yi, your prestige will surpass Xiong Yi's. When you return from the Thousand Beasts Sacred Land to the soaring Dragon Mountain Range, Li Xiang will naturally be under you. His Highness Lan's and Reverend Ching Su's voices grew softer and softer as their figures disappeared. The waves on the pitch-black pool still could not calm down, and the color of blood did not disappear. Even though the flesh and corpses had fallen into the deep pool, the traces of blood were smeared on the algae. After the time it took to finish a meal, the smell of blood had faded away, and the water in the pool had also gradually calmed down. At a corner of the pool, a lotus flower that was a few feet in size quietly bloomed, and an incomplete nascent soul emerged from it with shock and weakness. Wasn't that Xian Ping's nascent soul, who had escaped from Yizhao Ridge earlier? Xian Ping's nascent soul didn't dare to stay here for long. He forcefully sucked in a breath of heaven and earth origin energy, and his body emitted a dim light. He randomly found a direction and hurriedly fled. What? Junior brother Changyu was in danger? Although Xiongyi was very sad when he heard the news of Changyu's death, there wasn't much surprise in his tone. After all, from the hidden immortal continent to the Thousand Demons' sacred territory, he had lost close to 50% of the Fortune Gate's disciples. Moreover, when he was passing through the demonic demon race's territory, he had encountered the demonic demon race's patrol team. Coincidentally, the patrol team had a mountain patrol envoy. Although Xiong-Yi and the other Fortune Gate's disciples had killed the patrol team, they had paid a heavy price, and Xiong-Yi himself was also injured. If Xiong-Yi was already in such a state, how could Changyu, who had just stepped into the early nascent soul realm, be any better? Therefore, Xiong-Yi didn't have any doubts about Prince Lan's words. AI, that's right. At this time, Prince Lan's face was also pale, as if he was injured. Junior brother Chang just arrived here and realized that senior brother didn't arrive in time. He was worried and insisted on bringing his disciples to welcome you. How could junior brother let him come? Thus, he brought his disciples to welcome you. Junior brother Chang was afraid that junior brother's strength wasn't enough, so he insisted on following me. In the end, an hour ago, we met the demonic demon race at the lake on the mountain ridge. Prince Lan choked as he said this. Junior brother Chang Yu and a dozen of junior brother's disciples died in that battle. In order to protect junior brother Chang Yu self-detonated his nascent soul and perished together with the mountain patrol envoy. AI. Xiongyi sighed and patted Prince Lan's shoulder. Junior brother, don't blame yourself too much. Bring me there to take a look. Prince Lan was overjoyed. He raised his hand and pointed to the distance, but stopped Xiongyi. It's there, but junior brother doesn't recommend senior brother to go there. Junior brother clearly saw that junior brother Changyu didn't leave behind any remains. Moreover, the mountain patrol envoy died. Who knows if their mountain patrol master will come? Did you bring back junior brother Chang's belongings? Xiongyi asked again. Junior brother Chang's natal magic treasure has already exploded. Junior brother didn't have time to pick up his storage bag, so it should have fallen into the lake. Prince Lan didn't take these things back then because he wanted to lure Xiongyi back. However, Xiongyi thought for a moment and sighed. If you didn't take them, then don't take them. Most of junior brother Chang's belongings were left to the soaring Dragon Mountain Range disciples. Whether we can return today is still a question. What do we need those things for? After saying this, Xiongyi instructed, let's go quickly. After we meet up, we'll quickly change locations. Since we've already attracted the attention of the mountain patrol master, it's inevitable that there will be a big battle. Yes, senior brother. Prince Lan couldn't help feeling disappointed, but he didn't dare to refute and nodded his head in agreement. Although Xiaohua had made it clear before leaving the soaring Dragon Mountain Range that the entire Fortune Gate would be jointly managed by Xiong-Yi, Prince Lan, and Li Xiang. Li Xiang was different from Xiong-Yi and Prince Lan. He was more of a supervisor. Compared to Xiong-Yi and Prince Lan, Xiong-Yi was more proficient in sect affairs and had great foresight. His ability to judge the situation and size up the situation was better than Prince Lan's. Therefore, although the two of them discussed many things, and Xiong-Yi also listened to Prince Lan's opinion, Prince Lan was well aware that he couldn't compare to Xiong-Yi. The matter of going to the Thousand Beasts Sacred Land to save Xiaohua was also arranged by Xiong-Yi. When the two nascent soul cultivators returned to the Forest Sea, the Fortune Gate disciples all sighed when they heard that Changyu had fallen. However, Changyu didn't have many disciples, and the number of Fortune Gate disciples that died this time was too high. so no one suspected anything. When they received Xiongyi's order, they hurriedly packed up. Some flew, some escaped, and some rode on flying boats. More than 10,000 people quickly moved to another location. Xiongyi was naturally with Royal Highness Lan. At this time, he had already taken a pill, and the color on his face had slightly recovered. He frowned and asked Royal Highness Lan, "Junior brother, has Patriarch Ingbo of the Luai Merchant Union not arrived yet?" "Yes." Prince Lan nodded and replied, "Junior brother has been waiting here for more than 10 days. But I haven't seen any demonic beasts from the Flowing Merchant Union. Moreover, we didn't set a specific time with him. Judging from the itinerary, it should be in the next few days." Xiongyi pondered for a moment and nodded slightly. "This place is not far from Bai Qingyu. If we continue forward, I'm afraid we'll attract Beast Monarch Bai Qingyu's attention. We can only wait here for a few more days. After we meet up with Ingbo, we'll find a suitable solution." Chapter 4366. Senior Brother. His Highness Lan tried to sound Huang Xiaolong out. "Ever since Ingpo sent a message to our fortune gate, there hasn't been any news from him. Even though he was the one who arranged the 3 groups of disciples' route to the fortune gate. However, there hasn't been any news from him after such a long time. This junior brother feels that something is wrong." "What's wrong?" Xiongyi smiled. "The Endless Stream Commerce Union took the initiative to come to our fortune gate, and at the same time, presented Master's token. In the past 200 years, our fortune gate and the Endless Stream Commerce Union have grown closer. As we grow, so do they. From what Ingpo said, the Endless Stream Commerce Union's development is inseparable from our fortune gate, and even more inseparable from Master. Without Master, the Endless Stream Commerce Union wouldn't exist today. If Ingpo was a demonic beast, this junior brother wouldn't think too much. After all, Ingpo is also a demonic beast that values friendship. He wouldn't do anything to betray Master." His Highness Lan replied, "However, Ingpo is not only a demonic beast, he is also the patriarch of a tribe, and represents the Endless Stream Commerce Union. For Master, we can disregard the price and come even if we know it's a dead end. But what about Ingpo's tribe? They may not be." Xiongyi raised his head and saw that the sky was already covered with dark clouds. The originally clear sky was unknowingly covered by a strong wind, and not only did the wind fail to blow away the dark clouds, it even added to the bleakness of the sky. Xiongyi looked at the clouds in the sky, and a strange light flashed in his eyes as he replied, "Everything depends on the will of the people. Justice only exists between heaven and earth." Xiongyi's words were sincere, but His Highness Lan snorted disdainfully at his words. However, His Highness Lan didn't dare to say anything, and only replied, "Yes, junior brother understands." Right at this time, the scouting bird suddenly dove down from the clouds in the sky, heading in a certain direction. Seeing this, Xiongyi's expression was neither happy nor sad as he ordered, "Junior brother, go take a look. If I'm not mistaken, Ingpo should be here." "Yes, senior brother." His Highness Lan was a little surprised by Ingpo's arrival. He nodded and flew over to where Ingpo was. Sure enough, not long after, dozens of Ingpo's clansmen hurriedly rushed over. After saluting Xiongyi, they presented their jade eyes to him and respectfully said, "Xiong sect leader, our clan heard that Taoist Master Shao is in trouble. Therefore, we came here with the full strength of our clan to rescue him. Because there are too many people, if we were to stay together with the disciples of the Soaring Dragon Mountain Range, it would be easy to attract the attention of other demon clans. Therefore, our patriarch sent us here to lead the way for the disciples of the Soaring Dragon Mountain Range. Patriarch will lead more than 6,000 of our clansmen to set off from other places. As for the specific details, please check the Jade Eyes, sect head." Hiss. When Royal Highness Lan heard this, he unconsciously sucked in a breath of cold air. He understood the situation of the Ingbo clan. In the early years, the Ingbo clan lost their place of residence in the Thousand Demons sacred realm due to fighting. The entire clan moved to the hidden immortal continent, and that was how the Luoyi Merchant Union came into existence. In other words, the Ingbo clan only had a little more than 3,000 people back then and was on the verge of extinction. Although after more than 200 years of recuperation, The Luo E Merchant Union had now reached more than 10,000 clansmen. However, the Luo E Merchant Union was also very large now. For the Ingbo clan to send more than 6,000 clansmen to rescue Xiaohua, it was indeed the strength of the entire clan. This made Royal Highness Lan really unable to understand. I thank you on behalf of Master. Xiongyi nodded slightly. I won't say any more superfluous words. Everything will be discussed after we rescue Master. Yes, we understand. That demon was very clever. After saluting, he quickly left. Xiongyi picked up the jade eyes and looked at it for a moment. Then, he said to Royal Highness Lan, pass down the order to all disciples. 3 days later, according to the plan, we will attack Bai Qingyu. Yes. At this point, how could Royal Highness Lan still dare to say half a word of objection? He could only go along with it and think of another set of countermeasures in his heart. The clear sky was gone, and the clouds were dense. Wind and clouds were coming. Would the heavy snow be far away? Looking at the layers of clouds above Bai Qingyu for more than 10 days, the cold wind blew again and again, but there were no raindrops falling. And on this day, finally, a little bit of snow was born from the layers of clouds. It transformed into a salt pan and sprinkled down, as though it was adding some flavor to the feast. Ha ha ha! The heavens are really helping us. Bai Qingyu's demon monarch, Bai Qing's slightly hoarse voice drifted in the snow. The human race often says that drinking wine in the rain and eating meat in the snow are the 2 greatest pleasures in life. Now, seeing that my Bai Qingyu's feast is about to start, even the heavens want to attend it. Yes, congratulations, Brother Bai. Congratulations, Brother Bai. Ancient Bell Mountain's demon monarch and I Quan's voice sounded at the same time. This is the omen of Bai Qingyu's great prosperity. I'm very envious. I don't dare. I don't dare. Bai Qing laughed again and said, with ancient Bell Mountain and concealed Sky Ridge in front of us, how would I, Bai Qingyu, dare to talk about prosperity? It's only because there's another demon brother behind me that I have the guts to add some jokes to the 1,000 Demons Sacred Realm. Ha ha, yes, it's rare for the 1,000 Demons Sacred Realm to be so lively. The Demon King of Shrouding Sky Ridge didn't continue to flatter her. Instead, he followed Bai Qing's words and said, today, Bai Qingyu's banquet actually attracted humans, demons, and even dragons. It truly surprised many demon kings nearby. Come, 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 let's toast Brother Bai. And I Quan continued. Please, please. All the demon monarchs and demon generals congratulated in unison. The liveliness drove away the coldness in the entire world. The place where the voices came from was the foothills in front of the heavenly dam water prison. Now, a feast had already been set up. At the top, the 3 demon monarchs were raising their cups. On the stone table in front of them, bloody meat was steaming with the smell of blood. Below the 3 demon monarchs, there were many greater demons raising their cups to congratulate them. Below the greater demons, there were dozens of demon generals who were either prostrating, sitting cross-legged, or leaning against the wall. All of them raised their wine cups and held bloody meat in their hands, shouting loudly and making a racket. What a lively scene. After 3 rounds of drinking and a little bit of meat, the liveliness died down a little. Bai Qing was a little displeased. He released his Yuan will to look around and asked loudly, "Where's the mountain patrol?" "I'm here." A demon of the 6th grade Yuan Qi flew out from the foothills and bowed respectfully. "The feast has already begun. Where's the promised feast?" "Yes, Your Majesty. I've already followed Your Majesty's instructions and retreated the demon soldiers in Bai Qingyu's 4 realms," the mountain patrol hastily replied. I think at this moment, those tough humans. Before the mountain patrol could finish his words, demon monarch Pang Jun's eyes suddenly flashed with golden light. He laughed and said, it's coming, it's coming. The liveliness is coming. Ha ha, as expected." And I Quan also looked up into the distance and laughed while clapping his claws. There, there. The group of greater demons also turned their heads and looked in that direction. Seeing this, Bai Qing shouted, "Don't release your primordial thoughts. Don't disturb our food." Then, he turned his head and shouted, "Come, pass my order. Beat the drum and start the feast. Open the demon array." "Yes, Your Majesty." The mountain patrol answered and raised his hand to take out a triangular flag. As he activated his demon energy, a demon cloud flew out from the flag and landed between the mountains and swamps. Boom! At the place where the demon cloud landed, hundreds of tricolored light pillars shot up into the sky and enveloped the space within 100 miles. These light pillars slowly fell from the sky and intertwined with each other. A huge light screen slowly unfolded in front of the foothills. On the light screen was a scene 10,000 miles away. Before the demons could see what was on the light screen, dong dong dong, the sound of war drums sounded from above their heads again. The demons looked up and saw hundreds of shell-type demons stretching out their transmogrified tentacles. The tentacles held drumsticks that were a few feet thick and were beating the huge drum that was more than 100 feet in size. The sound of the drum spread in all directions. Before the sound of the drum, the halo caused by the light pillars stirred up the clouds. Layers of clouds surged in all directions. At the end of the turbulent clouds, between the towering mountain, for rainbows streaked across the sky. The divine will also swept across the sky like a surging river. When it swept across the five-colored halo that covered the mountains and swamps, the halo produced layers of ripples. Many illusions appeared between the ripples. When the divine will fell into it, it immediately showed signs of dissipating. The four divine wills did not dare to delay and quickly retreated. When the rainbow stopped in midair, Zhang Daoran, Sun Kong, Zhai Xingzi, and Gusu Qiudi appeared in the clouds. Unsurprisingly, the four of them all showed a trace of paleness on their faces. Their eyes were also filled with shock. "We're finally here." The shock in Gusu Qiudi's eyes faded. Unconsciously, she revealed a sense of relief. She muttered in a low voice and turned to look at the direction they came from. Using her injured divine will, she said again, "Xingzi, I'm afraid the people from the Xianhuang token will catch up soon." "That's right." Pity appeared on Zhai Xingzi's face. He said again, "We've been in a hurry. Now that we've finally stepped into Bai Qingyu's sphere of influence, we have no regrets even if we die. However, Qiu'er, it's been hard on you." "It's okay." Gusu Qiudi narrowed her eyes and looked at the five-colored halo that began to fill the area ahead. She was not inferior to men. She smiled and said, "Accompanying my husband for a day is equivalent to accompanying the Xianhuang Immortal Palace for 100 years. I've been with my husband for so long, and I'm already filled with happiness. I once swore that I don't want to be born on the same day, but I want to die on the same day. It's my fortune to be able to go to the netherworld with my husband today." Zhai Xingzi was a bit choked up. He held Gusu Qiudi's hand and said, "If I don't die today, the first thing I do when I return to the hidden immortal continent is to go to the Gusu clan to ask for your hand in marriage. Not to mention being bullied. Even if I'm beaten to death, I'll accept it." Zhai Xingzi. Every woman wanted a proper status. Even Gusu Qiudi, who was a 5th-level origin power grandmaster, could not escape the nature of this kind of woman. She knew that Zhai Xingzi's status was far from hers, and the Gusu clan would definitely not agree. Furthermore, she had faked her death, so it would be extremely difficult for Zhai Xingzi to officially marry her. Now that she heard Zhai Xingzi's words, she couldn't help but feel sad. Tears even flowed down her face. She nodded and said, "My husband is right. What I have to face eventually. I want to be my husband's real wife." Chapter 4367. Well said. Zhang Daoran and Sun Kong also clapped their hands and said, "Let's make an agreement here. After we survive here, we will go with Taoist Master Xiao to Gusu clan to ask for her hand in marriage." "Thank you, uncles." Gusu Qiudi's face blushed, and she replied in a low voice. Boom. As she spoke, more than 10 demon clouds flew out from the five-colored halo in the distance. 5 demon generals led thousands of demon soldiers and surrounded them with weapons. "Alas," Sun Kong sighed and said, "we originally wanted to sneak in quietly and find a chance to rescue Xiaohua. Who would have thought that not only did the Immortal Palace's Xianhuang token intercept us halfway, but even Bai Qingyu's Demon King was prepared. This trip is really a dead end. Even if it's a dead end, we still have to give it a try." Zhang Daoran looked at the demon generals flying over and said word by word, Seeing that Taoist Master Shao is in trouble, if we don't give it a try, how can we be at ease? Kill. Sun Kong Shangren roared and slapped the top of his head. A beam of light gushed out and landed in midair. Then, Sun Kong Shangren's body flashed with a green brilliance. His nascent soul Dharma body had expanded to 1,000 feet in just a moment. Woo! Sun Kong opened his mouth again, and his magic treasure soared into the sky. The shrill sound of wind whistling came from the magic treasure, and wind blades sharper than flying swords shrouded the space of 1,000 feet. Then, Sun Kong's nascent soul avatar flew up and formed seals with his hands, and the wind blades attacked a demon general flying over. Upon seeing venerable Sun Kong reveal his nascent soul Dharma body, the demon general also let out a loud roar, and the 5-colored light around his body began to sway like ripples. Within the light, several hundred pillars of light that were invisible to the naked eye fell from the sky. Muffled booms continuously rang out nearby as the demon general's body began to swell. In just a short moment, he was already over 1,000 feet in size. Exalted Master Sun Kong's wind blades crossed the vast sky and enveloped the space around the fiend general. The power of the domain and the wind blades seemed to have cut through space. However, when the wind blades fell on the demon general's halo, ka, sounds suddenly rang out. The halo was cut and annihilated under the power of the domain, but under the halo, the demon general's hard shell only had white scratches. It couldn't cause any substantial damage to the demon general. Haha. Seeing this, the demon general couldn't help but laugh. Humans are just blood-eating ears. Kill. While speaking, the demon general's shell suddenly opened, and a dazzling brilliance rushed out like the sun. The space imprisoned by Sun Kong instantly collapsed under the brilliance, and where the brilliance landed, the wind blades were cut and neatly cut into several pieces. The brilliance produced a boundless suction force, sucking the wind blades. Damn it! What is this 5-colored brilliance? Why is it so powerful? Sun Kong was shocked and quickly activated Heaven Howl again. The treasure let out a powerful roar, and yellow light came out of all the holes at the same time. When the threads of light fell into the air, they strangely twisted together. Mysterious creatures as thin as mosquitoes swam around the threads of light. Woo-woo! Waves of ghostly wails and howls came from the void. Strands of the world's origin energy that had condensed into crystal threads appeared like a spider web and landed on the threads of light. Buzz! The space within hundreds of meters shook. A red and yellow hurricane broke through everything like a dragon. It carried the arrogance of Sun Kong as it roared and pounced at the demon general. The demon general was shocked and didn't dare to be negligent. He quickly shrank his demon body, and the halo of the shell quickly flapped to protect his demon body. In just a few seconds, there was a loud bang, and the red and yellow tornado had already arrived before the demon general. It hit the 5-colored shell. The moment the 5-colored light was hit, it turned into thumb-sized vortexes. Each vortex had a suction force, and each vortex had 5-colored light piercing into the air. Sun Kong Shangren had already used all his strength in this attack. Although the demon general's innate ability was powerful, under the hurricane, the tens of millions of vortexes all collapsed. Every ray of light turned into fireflies. When all the halos were annihilated, there was a crisp sound, and the demon general's shell was actually smashed into pieces. The demon general didn't dare to continue fighting. The demon cloud below him quickly formed, and he was about to escape into the distance. Where do you think you're going? Sun Kong was overjoyed and let out a roar. His nascent soul body turned into wind, and Heaven Howl smashed toward the demon general like thunder. Sun Kong, be careful. Just at this moment, Gusu Chiudi's shocked voice echoed. Sun Kong was startled, but he didn't dare to be negligent and quickly retreated. Swoosh! It was also at this moment that the dozen or so shells that had been shattered by Sun Kong suddenly flew into the air, heading straight for Sun Kong's chest. When he saw the shell shards streaking through the air, fine spatial cracks appeared, and the sharp shards even touched his protective light. The light was sliced apart like silk. Sun Kong was shocked. Venerable Master Sun Kong hurriedly activated the power of his domain, wanting to seal the space around him. However, the The power of his domain turned into nothing when it landed on the five-colored center of the halo. Not good. Exalted Sun Kong hurriedly teleported, but he was still too late. Puff, puff. Several muffled sounds were heard as the three shell fragments broke through Exalted Sun Kong's defenses and stabbed into his body. 3 streams of blood immediately spewed out. Weak human. The demon general sneered and no longer tried to compete with Sun Kong. The demon general quickly rotated, and the five-colored light smashed into Sun Kong's nascent soul body. Damn it! Sun Kong hurriedly circulated his quintessential essence in an attempt to repair the injuries on his body. However, the five-colored halo was extremely strange. His quintessential essence was either absorbed or destroyed by the halo. Sun Kong was unable to repair it at all. Exalted Sun Kong cursed in his heart when he saw the demon general attacking once more, and he hurriedly utilized the wind movement technique to dodge. Since Sun Kong was the first to attack, Zhang Daoran naturally wouldn't be any slower. Just as Sun Kong used Heaven Howl, Sun Kong also used Drifting Snow. At this moment, there were already snowflakes falling from the horizon. Drifting snow rushed into the air, immediately enveloping the space within a radius of a few miles. The traces of ice were like spatial cracks as they rapidly attacked the demon general opposite of them. Wherever the ice crack passed, all the snow particles shook. In an instant, they turned into fist-sized ice balls that smashed towards the demon general from all directions. Wisps of green-white light rotated within the ice balls. Each ice ball would emit a strange whistling sound as it cut through the sky. Caw. Zhang Daoran's opponent was a giant rock. The giant rock let out a long cry and spread its wings. A shadow that was hundreds of feet large immediately appeared. The giant rock coldly looked at the ice and snow that filled the sky. Demonic light flashed around its body, and more beams of light fell between its wings. A shadow that was hundreds of feet large surged out of the giant rock's body. Boom, boom, boom. The great rock's demonic body rushed into the ice and snow space. As it flapped its wings, the ice balls were smashed into powder. Every time the ice balls exploded, the spinning halos would produce a violent force. However, the explosion of these ice balls only destroyed a trace of the giant rock's shadow. When the giant rock broke through all the ice and shattered the countless ice cracks, the giant rock had already flown above Zhang Daoran's head. The giant rock let out a sinister laugh. Its sharp claws that were dozens of feet long slashed down. Under the claws, the giant rock sealed the space within several hundred feet. Not only did the ice and snow disappear, but even the protective light around Zhang Daoran's body was about to be extinguished. Sigh. Zhang Daoran sighed. The giant rock in front of him had the strength of a 6th-grade origin energy. Moreover, the demonic race's demonic body was tyrannical. Using strength to break through techniques was never a lie. Zhang Daoran's techniques couldn't defeat the giant rock, and he was at an absolute disadvantage in close combat. In just a short exchange, he was already forced to the edge of life and death. Zhang Daoran sighed and slapped the top of his head. A layer of greenish-white emerged from the surface of his body. Ancient talismans appeared on the greenish-white layer, following which, the space around Zhang Daoran was immediately covered by a layer of solid ice. Pooh! Just as the layer of ice formed, an ice pillar that was several feet long shot out from the top of Zhang Daoran's head. This ice pillar shot straight into the sky. Wherever the ice pillar passed, the space was frozen. The space that the giant rock sealed also cracked and shattered inch by inch. Gotcha! The ice pillar collided with the giant rock's claws. Under the great force, the ice pillar also collapsed. However, the ice pillar only collapsed by a few feet. Zhang Daoran spat out another mouthful of blood. Wong. The ice pillar trembled and crazily rolled upwards. Not only did it freeze the giant rock's claws, it also spread towards the giant rock's abdomen. Haha, human, you've been tricked. The giant rock didn't panic at all. Instead, he laughed maniacally, following which, the giant rock opened his mouth. Woo! A beam of greenish-red fire swept out crazily. In an instant, it covered Zhang Daoran's entire body. Furthermore, the giant rock's feathers also surged with threads of fire. In a few breaths' time, The ice pillar that was sealing him was melted. Damn it! Zhang Daoran could feel the scorching threads of fire surging into his body. He cursed furiously. He didn't dare to fight anymore. His figure flashed rapidly. He wanted to teleport out of the sea of fire. However, after he channeled his powers, his body also shook a few times. The space around him was actually sealed tightly by the giant rock. Zhang Daoran couldn't escape. When Zhang Daoran summoned drifting snow, Zhai Xingzi's gaze was like lightning. He swept across another demon who was also looking at him. Their gazes collided in midair. It was as if sparks were flying. Zhai Xingzi didn't turn back. He only instructed plainly, "Qiu'er, your injuries haven't healed. Why don't you hold the fort for the three of us?" All right. Gusu Qiuti knew that it wasn't a good time for her to fight. She smiled and said, "This time, I'll be a little lazy." Chapter 43-68. Okay. As Zhai Xingzi spoke, starlight surged around his body. Countless beams of starlight and moonlight descended from the sky and landed on his body. At this moment, star symbols appeared on the surface of Zhai Xingzi's body. It was like a star map that protected his body. Gusu Qiuti retreated slightly and raised his hand. The shoot the moon bow was already in his hand. He activated his true qi and beams of qi rushed into the shoot the moon bow. A cold moon arrow that was a few feet long was slowly formed. Rumble. Zhai Xingzi flew out, and the demon summoned his demon cloud to meet him. Zhai Xingzi waved his hand, and the star fragment appeared. The space within a few miles immediately darkened. The stars on the star fragment activated the power of the stars and moon, sealing the space. The brilliance of the stars was like a sword, piercing towards the demon. This monster was short and fat. There was a horn that was 3 inches long on top of his head. The wings on his back were also only a few feet long. The monster saw that the space around him was sealed. He activated his monster power but didn't see the beams of starlight and moonlight descend. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Seeing the light of the stars and moon piercing towards him, the monster let out an angry roar. He waved his claws in the air, and the space around him was torn apart like silk. The space shattered, and the light of the stars and moon was naturally distorted. Most of the light scattered. However, when the light pierced through the shattered space and pierced the monster's body, his body was immediately cut open. Strands of monster blood flowed out. Roar. The monster was furious. A grayish-black monster cloud appeared around him. The monster cloud crazily surged and rushed towards the starlight. The brilliance of the stars and the moon was like a sword, piercing through the demonic cloud. At this moment, the demon's horn began to ripple again. As the ripples fell into the air, faint ripples began to spread in all directions in the void. Zhai Xingzi frowned. He had a bad feeling. Fall. Zhai Xingzi formed a seal and pointed at the falling stars in the sky. As he chanted, stars appeared from the falling stars. They shook the space and smashed towards the monster. Although it was only a few thousand feet away, the star grew from a very small size to a very large one. When it landed on top of the demon clan's head, it created a huge commotion, as if it was really falling from the sky. Seeing the several thousand feet large star smashing into the space and distorting it, the monster suddenly roared. Boom, boom, boom. The space within 1,000 feet suddenly churned and collapsed. Waves of black and white light surged out from the cracks in space. However, none of this could stop the star from falling. The brilliance of the star pierced through space and smashed onto the head of the demon. Just as the demon was about to turn into ashes, the figure of the demon suddenly twisted and even folded. Zhai Xingzi was shocked and shouted, "Oh no!" Then, his figure suddenly retreated. Sure enough, just as his figure disappeared, a 3-inch-long horn appeared at his illusory figure. In an instant, it shattered the space dozens of feet around him. A spatial divine ability. Zhai Xingzi's mouth was filled with bitterness as he called out to himself. This monster actually has a spatial divine ability. Damn it, Star Shatter is used to confine space and kill the enemy with the power of the stars and moon. Now, how can it be used? Sun Kong Shangren, be careful. At this moment, Gusu Qiuti, who was at the back, hurriedly reminded Sun Kong Shangren. When she turned her head to look at Zhai Xingzi, she hurriedly shouted, "Husband, please step aside and watch me kill this monster." "It's all right. Your husband can still hold on." How could Zhai Xingzi bear to let Gusu Chudi take action? After replying, he raised his hand, and a huge hand formed by the brilliance of the stars and moon grabbed towards the demon clan. Hee hee. With just this strength, you actually dare to come to my 1,000 demons' sacred realm and behave so atrociously? That demon sneered. He didn't use any other divine ability at all. Instead, he rushed up into the sky, and that horn of his collided with the star-moon hand. Boom! A strange wave, coupled with the sharp horn, caused Zhai Xingzi's hand to crumble instantly. Damn it! Zhai Xingzi, Sun Kong Shangren, and Zhang Daoran roared furiously at the same time. They were existences with fifth-grade origin energy on the hidden immortal continent. When had they ever been defeated like this? However, when they came to Bai Qingyu, a mere patrolling demon general was able to force them into a disadvantageous position. How could they possibly rescue Xiao Hua, who was suppressed by the Demon King? Val Spawn, since you're already here, why aren't you bowing down and being captured? Behind them, a faint voice sounded. Gusu Chiodi was startled. She hurriedly turned her head and saw dozens of clouds surging out from the horizon. The assassins of the Bound of Universe were chasing after them like maggots. Husband, could it be that we've reached a dead end? Facing such a desperate situation, Gusu Chiodi was distressed. She raised her head and looked in Bai Qingyu's direction. We haven't even seen Daoist Zhao's face yet. Ha ha ha. In the distance, Bai Qingyu and Demon King Bai Qing laughed. The group of demon race also saw it clearly through the light screen. They all clapped their hands and laughed. Beat the drums and cheer. Following Bai Qing's shout, dong dong dong, another battle drum beat sounded, shaking the surroundings. Seniors, don't be anxious. Juniors will come to help you. Amidst the battle drums, a wave of battle cries sounded from another direction. More than 10,000 human cultivators activated their escape lights and swept across the mountains like black clouds, pouncing towards Bai Qingyu. A nascent soul cultivator at the front scanned them with his divine sense and immediately shouted, "Xiong, Xiongyi?" Sun Kong Shangren was stunned at first, then he was overjoyed. He laughed and said, Daoist Xiao indeed hid something. The disciples of the Black Wind Ridge are all here. Just these 10,000 Black Wind Ridge disciples are already the strongest force of our Dao sect, right? Sigh. What a pity. Zhang Daoran was not happy. Instead, he sighed and said, even if there are more than 10,000 disciples, they're just moths flying into a flame. Not a single disciple will be able to return to the hidden, immortal continent. Zhai Xingzi's expression also changed. He could only say, what a pity. On the other hand, Gusu Chiodi's eyes lit up. She shouted, how sad, how righteous. Good. Ha ha ha. Qingyu's banquet has finally begun. The demon general who had just fought with the 3 human cultivators laughed loudly. He raised the weapon in his hand and shouted, Boy of Shrouding Sky Ridge, Ancient Bell Mountain, Qingbi Qingyu, listen to my command, kill. Just as the word killed fell, a wave of battle cries came from the mountains, ridges, and rivers in front of the Fortune Gate's disciples. 5 colored lights flickered as several thousand demonic beasts of various colors revealed themselves, brandishing their weapons as they charged towards the Fortune Gate's disciples like a tidal wave. Seeing that they were close, Xiongyi's face revealed a murderous glint. He opened his mouth and a silver-white sword pillar flew out. The sword pillar instantly split into 10, and like spirit stones, they pierced towards the 10 demons in front of him. The 10 demonic beasts were also in the lower 4th grade. Facing the sword light, they sneered and did not dodge. They smashed the demonic beasts in their hands towards Xiongyi. Pu. Almost at the same time, the silver-white sword light pierced through the demonic armor on the 10 demonic beasts. It even pierced through their bodies that had been tempered for a long time. The 10 demonic beasts did not even have the chance to scream before they died on the spot. Xiongyi did not stop. He made a hand seal and the sword light pillar shot towards the other demonic beasts. Damn it! In a few breaths' time, Xiongyi had killed more than a dozen demonic beasts. A demonic beast general roared and opened his mouth. A pillar of demonic light shot towards Xiongyi. Seeing the demonic light was like water, majestic and majestic. Xiongyi had no choice but to abandon his demonic beasts and fight the demonic beast general with his sword pillar. At this time, Prince Lan had no time to think about anything else. He also activated his magic treasure to kill the demonic beast general while dodging the demonic beast general's attack. In the air, several hundred li away, more than 10,000 Fortune Gates disciples were also engaged in a fierce battle with several thousand demonic beast clans. Brilliant lights flashed, and demonic chi soared to the sky. Miserable screams, the sounds of magic treasures colliding, and the sound of corpses falling to the ground filled the air. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Such a tragic scene was like child's play in the eyes of the three beast kings and the group of greater demons. They raised their wine cups and shouted, "What a feast! What a feast! Our trip here was not in vain. Cheers, let's continue to cheer." Kill. Zhai Xingzi sighed when he saw the Fortune Gate disciples fighting the demonic beasts. He did not even look at where the Xinhuang Order assassins came from. He waved his star shatter and continued to fight the demonic beast general. Haha. At this time, another heroic voice sounded from another direction. Several thousand short, demonic beasts emerged from the ground. It was Ingpu and his fellow tribesmen. Ingpu shouted, "How can I miss out on such a grand occasion? Even if we can't save Daoist Xiao, we will spill our blood on the way to save him. Good men, good demonic beasts." Gusu Chiodi shouted, "If I can survive today, I will definitely befriend you." That's right. Such men are Daoist Zhao's best friends. Zhai Xingzi laughed. His star shatter flashed as he fought the demonic beast general again. Crazy, crazy. All of them are crazy. The assassins of the Xinhuang Order flew closer. When they saw such a huge battle, they could not help but be stunned. After all, they were humans. Although they wanted to kill Zhai Xingzi and the others, they could not kill humans from behind. Dong dong dong. Another wave of drumming sounded. More demonic beast soldiers flew over from other places to fight against the continuous merchant union's demonic beast soldiers. The demonic beasts were invigorated by the drumming, and their battle cries were endless. After half a cup of tea's time, the blood of the humans and demonic beasts had dyed the ground red. Beast King Bai Qing was still not satisfied. He looked at the situation on the light screen and waved his hand. He stood up and shouted, "Brothers, please wait a moment. This old man will show them some more exciting things." "Okay, we will wait and see." Quan and Peng Jun were puzzled. They replied as they watched Bai Qing disappear into the heavenly dam water prison. Boom. In just a moment, demonic light burst out from the mountain peak of the heavenly dam water prison. A pillar of fire shot up into the sky. When the pillar of fire pierced through the sky, another struggling human head was suppressed under the pillar of fire. Chapter 4369. Ha ha ha, good good good. When Quan and Peng Jun saw this, how could they not know that Bai Qing had projected the scene of Xiao Hua being suppressed from the heavenly dam water prison to provoke the human cultivators? As they clapped their hands, they carefully released their spiritual sense, especially Peng Jun. His eyes scanned the surrounding space as if he was waiting for someone's arrival. Damn it, damn it, damn it. The fire pillar rushed into the sky and covered the entire Bai Qingyu. Not to mention Xiong Yi and the other Fortune Gate disciples, even Zhai Xingzi and Zhang Daoren felt sad. Everyone roared in unison, and their morale soared. The entire human race's morale soared as they charged towards the demonic beasts without any regard for their lives. However, when more than half of the demons were killed, the human cultivators had only pushed forward for more than 100 miles. Boom, boom, boom. The five-colored brilliance shone brightly again, and many demon clouds rose again. Hundreds of thousands of demon soldiers and demon generals rushed out, covering the sky and covering the earth and counterattacking the human cultivators. Moreover, behind these demonic beast soldiers and generals, there were hundreds of thousands of demonic beast soldiers holding demonic artifacts, standing guard in the distance. At this time, Zhai Xingzi, Sun Kong, and Zhang Daoran were already injured. Gusu Qiudi's moon shooting bow had already shot twice, and after killing 2 demonic beast generals, she no longer had any power to kill. Seeing that there were more than 10 demonic beast generals with 6th grade essence force sneered and surrounded them, Zhai Xingzi looked at Gusu Qiudi and said, "Qiu'er, we finally saw Daoist Xiao. Although we can't save him, we have no regrets." However, before Zhai Xingzi could finish his words, another strange phenomenon appeared behind the human cultivators. Zhai Xingzi, Zhang Daoran, and the others were curious and couldn't help but release their spiritual sense. When they saw it clearly, their eyes were filled with shock. They looked at each other and exclaimed, How is this possible? Good heavens! The snowflakes on Jade Mountain are as big as a mat, and they are falling onto the drum stage." A somewhat sour voice reverberated in the gloomy sky. In that voice, snowflakes the size of a thumb fell. The source of the voice was an arrogant python dragon. The python dragon did not move its body to fly. Instead, it coiled in the air and raised its head to look at the sky covered by dark clouds as it roared loudly. This python dragon was obviously transformed from Xiao Hua. He had followed Shui Mingzi, Ao Zhantian, and the others to Bai Qingyu. Along the way, he had clearly heard their voice transmissions, and he couldn't help but be deeply moved by the changes in people's hearts. Unfortunately, he had still underestimated his influence on the hidden immortal continent's Tao Gate, and he had also underestimated the Stream Merchant Union's ability. He was completely unaware of the efforts the Stream Merchant Union, Fortune Gate, Ao Shang, Ao Zhan, Zhai Xingzi, and the others had put in to rescue the so-called Xiao Hua. He was even more unaware that Fairy Jing, who he thought was eager for quick success, had already sacrificed her life for him. At this moment, Xiao Hua looked at the sky. The gloomy sky seemed to make him unhappy. He couldn't help but recite a poem. When the nearby Tao Gate's cultivators heard this, they couldn't help but cover their mouths and laugh. Although they were somewhat disdainful of this python dragon's pretentiousness, this flood dragon's divine ability made them revere it. However, after being together for so long, they also felt that this python dragon had no other shortcomings other than its arrogance and bad temper. At this moment, one of the cultivators couldn't help but remind Ao, "Fellow immortal Aoe, why don't you take a look? This snowflake is not the size of a straw mat. Could it be that the straw mats in your hometown are like this?" Ha ha ha. Xiao Hua laughed heartily. As he laughed, all the snow within a radius of 300 meters was shaken into powder. Immediately after, Xiao Hua opened his mouth and spat out a stream of demonic qi. In the sky, a thin piece of ice that was several meters in size appeared and slowly drifted down with the wind. "This old man knows that you are jealous of this old man's talent and the nobility of my dragon race." Xiao Hua raised his hand and pointed. "Do you see? This is a snowflake as big as a straw mat." Then what about the drum-beating platform? That cultivator saw that Xiao Hua wasn't angry and asked again. Clang clang. Xiao Hua coughed twice. The python dragon's voice was like thunder. Xiao Hua laughed again and said, "Look, this is..." Without waiting for Xiao Hua to finish speaking, dong dong dong. In the sky, the sound of drums faintly rang out. Layers of clouds were formed in the dense dark clouds that were previously covered by the drums. They rapidly rippled from afar and covered the entire sky in a short moment. The snowflakes floating in the air were also shattered by the drum beats. When the clouds moved, the drum beats stopped and large snowflakes really began to drift down. This is already the Bai Qingyu territory? Ao Zhantian's expression turned serious, and he turned to ask Shui Mingzi. Shui Mingzi smiled and nodded. "That's right. This place has already entered the Bai Qingyu demon realm." "Good." Ao Zhantian took a deep breath as he swept his gaze across all the Dao sect cultivators nearby. In the end, his gaze landed on Shui Mingzi's face, and he said word by word, "Shui Mingzi, I'm sure you've already told the other fellow Taoists what you told me earlier, right?" A trace of embarrassment flashed across Shui Mingzi's eyes. However, he immediately nodded and said, "That's right. That's good." Ao Zhantian raised his hand and lifted his Taoist robe. With a wave of his hand, the corner of the robe fluttered in the wind. Ever since the Jade Pavilion meeting, I have always treated fellow Shui as my best friend. This time, when I received news of Daoist Zhao's death, I immediately contacted fellow Shui. From the hidden immortal continent to the thousand demon sacred realm, from the North Sea to Bai Qingyu, I thank fellow Shui for leading the way. I also thank fellow Shui for accompanying me in killing demonic beasts. At the same time, I also thank fellow Shui for not stabbing me in the back. Fellow Daoist Ao, what do you mean by this? Shui Mingzi sneered. His gaze followed the fluttering corner of the robe and became even more confused. He muttered, "Are you cutting off your relationship with me? It's nothing. People who walk different paths cannot make plans together." Ao Zhantian said proudly, "This time, I came to Bai Qingyu to save Daoist Zhao. I have no interest in Daoist Zhao's disciple and your blood oath. Since we are already here, there is no longer any intention to cooperate between us. Since everyone is suspicious of each other, we might as well separate. I don't care why you want to save Daoist Zhao. As long as you can save him, I will definitely not stop you. However, if you want to do anything to Daoist Zhao, then don't blame me for being impolite." After saying that, Ao Zhantian flew several hundred meters into the sky. He turned his head and shouted, "Is there anyone else who is not willing to wallow in the mire with Shui Mingzi and is willing to die for Daoist Zhao with me?" Ao Zhantian's sudden commotion caused the Daoist cultivators to look at each other. Just as Ao Zhantian had said, Shui Mingzi had been observing everyone's expressions along the way and had transmitted his voice to every cultivator at the right time. Most of the Daoist cultivators were hot-blooded men. When they heard that Daoist Zhao was in trouble, they all rubbed their palms together and came to his rescue. However, after entering the thousand demons' sacred realm, under the countless difficulties and trials of life and death, their hot-bloodedness and impulsiveness had long been obliterated. All that was left was the interrogation of their conscience. This kind of interrogation was something that no cultivation method had ever done. Not to mention the cultivators, even Ao Zhantian had countless thoughts along the way. He was like a fence-sitter. One moment, he was here. The next moment, he was there. One moment, he felt that he should be Xiao Hua. The next moment, he felt that Shui Mingzi was right. It was only now that he truly recognized his own heart and saw his own path. Ao Zhantian had seen it clearly. What about the other Daoist cultivators? After half a cup of tea's time, not a single cultivator stepped out from the crowd. Xiao Hua's heart grew colder. I'm willing." Just as Ao Zhantian sighed and was about to leave, Su Tingzi gritted his teeth and flew out from the crowd. Su Tingzi was an extremely thoughtful person. When he helped Xiao Hua on the Yaodai Mountain, he had thought about it several times before taking action. After leaving the Yaodai Mountain, Xiao Hua wanted him to join the Fortune Gate like Xiong Yi. However, he hesitated and refused in the end. It was the same this time. He thought about it for a long time, and when he saw that Ao Zhantian was about to leave, he couldn't help but step out from the crowd. Good. Ao Zhantian was overjoyed. He clapped his hands and laughed. Although there are many Daoist cultivators in the world, there might not be many who are worthy of Daoist Zhao's attention. There's no need for too many who are waiting for Daoist Zhao. Just one of them is enough. After saying that, Ao Zhantian seemed to have thought of something, and he turned to Xiao Hua, who was watching the show from afar, and cupped his fists. "Fellow Daoist Ao, although what I said was true, there's a possibility that dragons will come to Bai Qingyu. However, there's something I didn't say. Bai Qingyu is a place of death. There's almost no chance for dragons to come. Moreover, there's no turning back if you go forward. Please, roar." Xiao Hua was instantly enraged when he heard this. His entire python body stretched out in midair as he roared at Ao Zhantian. "Motherf asterisk Kerr, you actually dared to lie to me? Did you use me to protect you?" Ao Zhantian smiled bitterly. "Although I didn't lie to you, my true meaning is more or less the same. Fellow Daoist, if you go forward, you won't be able to turn back. I'm already prepared to die. Therefore, fellow Daoist, please turn back." Damn it, damn it, damn it. Xiao Hua cursed angrily as he looked at the fearless Ao Zhantian. His python body stopped in the air, as if he wanted to kill Ao Zhantian. However, he seemed to feel that it wasn't worth it and didn't know what to do. At this moment, Shui Mingzi raised his hand and waved. The remaining cultivators moved and surrounded Su Tingzi. Shui Mingzi then flew in front of Ao Zhantian. Hee. Ao Zhantian wasn't surprised by Shui Mingzi's actions. He sneered. Shui Mingzi, you finally couldn't hold back? Actually, I've been guessing on the way here when you would attack me. However, this is all you've got. It didn't exceed my expectations. Chapter 4370. At this point, Ao Zhantian suddenly came to a realization. He looked to the left and slapped his forehead. Could it be that this is by Qingyu? You don't need to be wary anymore? Are you going to attack me again? Could it be that you also attacked Taoist Master Xiao back then? Shui Mingzi's expression changed slightly. How could I attack Taoist Master Xiao? When he was training in the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm, he offended Monster Monarch by Qingyu and was captured by her. Ha 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 ha. Ao Zhantian laughed loudly. He pointed at the group of nascent soul cultivators and said, "Look at this sanctimonious thing." If he didn't say this, I could only guess. However, based on his words, I can conclude that Taoist Master Xiao was harmed by him. Shui Mingzi was shocked. He seemed to have thought of something. However, he immediately sneered. Xiao Hua's matter has nothing to do with me. I also want to save him. However, I don't want to save him for nothing. I just want him to return the blood oath we made. Shui Mingzi, oh Shui Mingzi, don't forget. Ao Zhantian decided to get straight to the point. You invited me to the Thousand Beast Sacred Realm's ancient Bell Mountain to participate in some kind of event. I didn't agree. After that, I went to visit Taoist Master Xiao and invited him to participate in the Dragon Island training with me. At that time, I asked Taoist Master Xiao if you invited him. Taoist Master Xiao said that you invited him, and he agreed. If that's the case, didn't Taoist Master Xiao come to the Thousand Demons Sacred Realm to participate in the Ancient Bell Mountains event? If it weren't for your selfishness, how could he have been betrayed? Ao Zhantian, you're talking nonsense. Shui Mingzi said angrily. Xiaohua didn't come at all. I only thought of using the Ancient Bell Mountain's power after hearing that he was suppressed by Monster Monarch by Qingyu. Ao Zhantian smiled mysteriously. His gaze moved from Shui Mingzi to the nascent soul cultivators surrounding Su Tingzi. He said meaningfully, if you didn't set Taoist Master Xiao up, what are you doing right now? Do you need to kill me just to take control of Taoist Zhao's forces? Ao Zhantian's words were extremely heart-wrenching, and Shui Mingzi was instantly forced out of his heart. Setting aside everyone else, even Xiao Hua couldn't help but blame Shui Mingzi for the little white dragon's imprisonment. He knew very well that he hadn't come to the Thousand Beast Sacred Realm to participate in any grand event, but even he couldn't help but blame Shui Mingzi for the little white dragon's imprisonment. At this moment, Ao Zhantian added fuel to the fire by asking, "Oh, and where is Taoist Xian Ping's nascent soul? Does he know about your background and have something on you that he can use against you? That day in front of Yizhao Ridge, he directly called you Shui Mingzi. Now that his nascent soul is nowhere to be seen, did you kill it?" Venomous slander. Shui Mingzi couldn't help but fly into a rage. What does this have to do with me? Before he could even finish his sentence, a beam of light shot out from Ao Zhantian's Taoist robes and slashed toward Shui Mingzi's waist. Wasn't that Ao Zhantian's scythe magic treasure? Damn it. Shui Mingzi was caught off guard. His body flashed, and he teleported into the distance. Whoosh! A shadow was sliced into two by the scythe. Ao Zhantian took advantage of Shui Mingzi's evasion and roared, "Let's see who dares to block my path." Then, he waved his Taoist robes and charged toward Bai Qingyu. Su Tingzi, who was feeling a little regretful, didn't have any way of turning back. He urged his body to escape with Ao Zhantian. Dong, dong, dong. At this moment, like the sound of war drums being beaten 3 times, the sound of muffled thunder came from the sky. This time, the sound of the drum was different from the previous one. It reverberated at a low altitude, and wherever the sound of the drum passed, some demonic formations were activated. An indescribable power of the stars and moon also rushed out from the void and landed in all directions. Boom! A clear sound rang out from the ground not far from Ao Zhantian. Several shadows as large as the north of the sea rushed out. These shadows were immensely powerful, and they enveloped an area of 10,000 feet in front of Ao Zhantian. Ao Zhantian didn't dare to be careless. He hurriedly stopped and dodged. Just as he was dodging, Shui Mingzi raised his hand and slapped it. A five-colored beast skin fell from his hand. Dozens of tiny pillars of light descended from the sky and landed on the demonic runes on the beast skin. Thin five-colored patterns slowly appeared on Shui Mingzi's body. Shui Mingzi activated his body and teleported in front of Ao Zhantian. Bai Qingyu's demonic formations instantly disappeared when they came into contact with the five-colored patterns on Shui Mingzi's body. Since fellow Taoist Ao doesn't want to accept the toast, then I have no choice. Shui Mingzi seemed to have a card up his sleeve. He raised his hand and took out his horsetail whisk. Under the activation of his magic power, the horsetail whisk actually shone with five-colored light. As he waved it, the demonic formations that had been activated earlier seemed to be lifted by the horsetail whisk. Dozens of demonic lights surged out from the ground and enveloped an area of 10 kilometers around Ao Zhantian like a fountain. Normally, it's a dog who bullies its master. But now, it's a dog who bullies its master. What can I do? Ao Zhantian snorted coldly. He raised his hand and slapped the top of his head. The blood-colored dragon avatar gradually emerged from his body. Roar! Just as the dragon avatar raised its head and was about to roar, a dragon roar several times louder than his rang out from another direction. Ao Zhantian was stunned. The dragon avatar extended to several thousand feet in length and looked toward the source of the dragon roar. In the sky, between the layers of colorful clouds, a dozen or so enormous dragon bodies flew over with auspicious auras. The dragon aura that could drown a person surged toward them like a tidal wave. Ao Sheng? Ao Zhantian couldn't help but tremble when he saw the dragon body that was at least 10,000 feet in length and the golden crown on the dragon's forehead. He's really here? Ao Sheng wasn't the only one. Ao Zhan's black dragon body also appeared behind Ao Sheng. The other dragons that were protecting Ao Zhan also caught up from behind. Damn it! Shui Mingzi didn't know who Ao Sheng was, but when he heard Ao Zhantian's exclamation and recalled that Ao Zhantian had mentioned Ao Sheng to the python dragon, how could he not know that he was in trouble? He cursed angrily and hurriedly took out another beast hide from his robes. Then, he spat a mouthful of blood essence onto it. The beast hide ignited on its own and instantly transformed into the projection of a winged beast. It turned into a white line and flew into the depths of Bai Qingyu. Roar! Ao Zhantian's dragon avatar also raised its head and roared, trying to attract Ao Sheng's attention. Xiao Hua, who was beside him, laughed loudly in his heart. Dragon tribe, it really is the dragon tribe. Cough cough, I've finally seen a true dragon tribe member today. Unfortunately, regardless of whether it was Ao Zhantian, Su Tingzi, Shui Mingzi, or the group of human cultivators, no one had the time to pay attention to this python dragon who was waiting for the arrival of the dragon tribe. Roar! Ao Sheng clearly heard Ao Zhantian's call. He swept his vital sense over, and his dragon body flew in their direction. However, Ao Sheng's dragon roar contained a trace of warning. When Ao Zhantian sensed that something was amiss and took a closer look at Ao Sheng and the other dragon tribe members, he couldn't help but turn pale with fright. This was because even though Ao Sheng's body was flashing with golden light, the dragon armor under the golden light was already slightly damaged. The dragon scales that covered the dragon armor were either shattered or bleeding profusely. There were even claw marks that were several dozen feet in size on some parts of his body. Holy F***CK. It can't be, Xiaohua exclaimed in shock. A dragon tribe member can also be injured in the Thousand Beasts Sacred Realm? Immortal friend Ao. This is the dragon tribe you were talking about? Why does it look like they're inferior to me? Could it be that my bloodline is better than the dragon tribes? Woo! Before Ao Zhantian could reply, the sound of a bugle horn rang out from the depths of Bai Qingyu. Numerous demonic clouds emerged from the foothills and surged toward them. Above the demonic clouds, numerous star-staged demon generals stood proudly. Behind them, several hundred demon soldiers wielded their weapons and charged over. Ao Zhantian, why are you here? Ao Shang yelled before he even got close. Ao Zhantian didn't say much. He only raised his voice and said, I came to Bai Qingyu to rescue Xiaohua, Taoist priest Xiaohua. These dozen or so Taoist sect cultivators all have distracting thoughts, and this out-of-body Taoist priest Xiao is the main culprit behind Taoist priest Zhao's misfortune. Ao Zhantian's words were truly timely. Ao Sheng didn't hesitate at all. He let out a loud roar and spat out a mouthful of dragon's breath. A majestic aura that numbed the bones of the Taoist sect cultivators fell from the sky. Ao Zhantian's dragon blood dharma body was the only one who managed to block the dragon's aura. The dozen or so human cultivators, including Su Tingzi, tried their best to resist the dragon's aura with their magic power, but they were still unable to stabilize themselves in midair. The light around their bodies scattered, and they fell from the sky. They couldn't even gather their true essence. On the other hand, Shui Mingzi's body flashed with five-colored light. He transformed into a shadow and flew toward Bai Qingyu's demon generals. Kill. Ao Shang didn't care about these Taoist sect cultivators at all. He let out a furious roar, and the golden light around his body shone brightly. In an instant, he covered a distance of dozens of miles. He opened his dragon claws and swiped at Shui Mingzi. Moreover, the heavenly dragon speech technique was unleashed from the dragon's mouth. Above the heads of the Taoist sect cultivators, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth within 100 miles surged violently. Clusters of flames appeared and rained down on the Taoist sect cultivators. Wherever the flames touched, the space was scorched and distorted. The Taoist cloud that soared into the sky was also burned to ashes. A dozen or so weaker Taoist soldiers were engulfed by the flames and fell from the sky while howling. Boom! Boom! Seeing how powerful the flames were, the Taoist generals on the Taoist cloud didn't dare to be careless. They hurriedly circulated their Taoist qi, and streaks of five-colored light soared into the sky. The five-colored light was indeed powerful. The flames unleashed by the heavenly dragon speech technique were destroyed by the five-colored light. However, Ao Shang, Ao Zhan, and the rest of the dragon tribe cultivators were already close to the Taoist sect cultivators. Ao Shang's dragon claws were already descending. While Shui Mingzi was shocked, he had already taken out his horsetail whisk. Tens of thousands of light strands flew up to meet the attack. Unfortunately, the light strands were easily grabbed by Ao Shang's dragon claws. As the light strands turned into sand and fell to the ground, Shui Mingzi's horsetail whisk also let out a sizzling sound. The strands of light strands that were refined from an unknown material were already flying away. Chapter 4371. Let's go. Shui Mingzi didn't dare to delay. He hurriedly channeled his magic power and tried to teleport away. However, in front of a dragon, a human's teleportation was powerless. Shui Mingzi only flew a few feet before the space around him solidified. Shui Mingzi could no longer fly forward. He had no choice but to reveal himself in the space. Then, he saw Ao Shang's deformed dragon head. The murderous dragon claw was already in front of him. Damn you, Ao Zhantian. Shui Mingzi knew that Ao Shang wanted to kill him because of Ao Zhantian's words. Although he was in the out-of-aperture realm, he was still helpless in front of a dragon's powerful body. Shui Mingzi quickly flipped his hand and took out a five-colored shell the size of a thumb. With a squeeze of his fingers, the shell was crushed. Wong. A glaring five-colored light appeared. Once it appeared, it immediately turned into a shell that was hundreds of feet wide and blocked Ao Shang's dragon claw. Clang! A metallic sound rang out. Ao Shang's dragon claw was blocked and the shell was shattered into pieces. However, Shui Mingzi took advantage of this gap to teleport 1,000 feet away. Damn it! Ao Shang's murderous intent rose. 1,000 feet was nothing in his eyes. He swung his dragon body again, and his dragon tail that was hundreds of feet long smashed towards Shui Mingzi. Ao Zhan and the other dragon generals didn't stand idly by as Ao Shang chased after Shui Mingzi. They ignored the human cultivators and released their dragon's might and dragon's breath towards Bai Qingyu's demon generals and soldiers. In just a few moments, half of the demon soldiers summoned by Shui Mingzi were killed by Ao Zhan and the others. 4 of the demon generals were killed as well. The entire area was covered in blood and flesh. The group of numb human cultivators were a little dumbfounded. The fighting methods of the monster race were different from that of the human race. Most of the time, it was a fight of flesh against flesh, a collision of blood against blood. How could there be so many dazzling spells? Seeing Ao Shang's huge dragon tail coming down, Shui Mingzi felt that the whole world was filled with dragon scales and dragon breath. No matter what spell he cast, it was as powerless as raindrops when it landed on the tough dragon body. He couldn't help but feel sad. He even thought of the funny boa dragon along the way, the one who claimed to have the blood of the dragon race. Just as Shui Mingzi's heart was about to give up, a familiar voice sounded in his ears. Where did this shameless dragon come from? How dare you bully the weak? Ancestor, save the boy. Despite Shui Mingzi's thousands of years of age, when he heard this voice, he actually shamelessly called himself a boy and asked for help. Above Shui Mingzi's head, the space distorted, and the phantom of a flying feather-void beast appeared in a space 1,000 feet wide. Before the phantom of the flying feather-void beast could fully materialize, the flying feather-void beast also swung its tail, and the distortion of space actually rushed out with its tail. Boom! It was as if the space within a few miles had collapsed. Ao Shang's dragon body tumbled a few times in the air before coming to a stop. Ao Shang's eyes flashed with horror and he shouted, "Where did this thing come from? How dare you block me?" The collapse of space also destroyed most of the phantom. It wasn't until Ao Shang came to a stop that the phantom became solid again. A sun-devouring realm great demon appeared from the phantom with a slightly angry face and coldly looked at Ao Shang. The great demon glanced at Ao Shang and the wings on his back flapped. Dozens of pillars of starlight and moonlight fell, creating layers of distorted space fluctuations that blocked Ao Zhan and the other dragon generals. Then, he glanced at Shui Mingzi, Ao Zhantian, and the other humans before his gaze finally landed on Ao Shang. He asked coldly, "Who are you? How dare you block me?" "Of course I am." Ao Shang was furious. Just as he was about to reveal his identity, he seemed to have thought of something and shouted, "I am the Dragon General of Dragon Island. Are you Bai Qingyu's great demon? Hurry up and release Xiaohua, or I will order the other dragon generals to trample Bai Qingyu." Ha ha ha. The great demon laughed and pointed his claws at Ao Shang. "You dare to say you are the Dragon General of Dragon Island? Don't you know that the Dragon Island's envoy has already been here? He doesn't care about my affairs at all. What right do you have to criticize me?" "What? The Dragon Island's envoy has already been here? How is this possible?" Ao Shang was shocked. "Seems like you are also pretending to be a dragon of Dragon Island. Let me capture you first." The great demon sneered and spread his wings. His body became extremely distorted again, and he pounced at Ao Shang. "Who dares to hurt a minor elder of Dragon Island?" The dragon generals who were protecting Ao Shang were anxious. They roared and abandoned the group of demon generals and pounced at the great demon. Ao Zhan at the side shouted, "Ao Shang, let's not waste time with him. Let's rush in first." "Okay." Ao Shang nodded and rushed toward Bai Qingyu while the dragon generals were blocking the great demon. Ao Shang knew that he was no match for this great demon. These dragon generals could only hold on for a few breaths. As long as he rushed into Bai Qingyu and saw Monster Monarch Bai Qingyu, he might be able to persuade her to let Xiaohua go with his identity as a minor elder of Dragon Island. Boom boom boom. Just when Ao Shang was a few thousand feet away, he heard a series of explosions. The great demon had already sent a few dragon generals flying. These dragon generals' flesh was torn open, and it was obvious that their injuries were not light. However, when the great demon saw Ao Shang and Ao Zhan flying away, he did not chase after them. Instead, he looked coldly at Ao Zhantian and Su Tingzi with killing intent. Facing the great demon's gaze, Ao Zhantian was shocked. His dragon blood Dharma body was trembling. It was as if he would be killed by the great demon if he did not make a move. Roar, roar. Right at this moment, a few more dragon roars that were even louder erupted in the sky in front of Ao Zhantian. Dong dong dong. A third set of drum beats sounded, and a few dozen sun-devouring stage dragons flew out from the drum beats and dragon roars, surrounding Ao Shang, Aozhan, and the other dragons in the center. You, where are you from? Ao Sheng's heart skipped a beat when he saw dozens of unfamiliar dragons surrounding him. Hee, you are just a minor elder of Dragon Island. How could you know us dragons? A colorful dragon at the front said with a sinister smile. Since you know that I am a minor elder of Dragon Island, how dare you be so rude? Ao Sheng shouted. Aren't you afraid of Dragon Island's dragon law? Dragon law? What is dragon law? The dragon laughed. We are not under Dragon Island. How would we know about dragon law? Besides, you are just a minor elder of Dragon Island. In the Thousand Demons sacred realm, you are just a little dragon who can pluck the moon. We can kill you if we want. Humph. At this moment, the great demon from ancient Bell Mountain behind Ao Sheng snorted coldly. Brother Jiang, don't you think you have said too much? Damn it. The colorful dragon roared. Who told you to tell me why I am here? I have already promised to kill Ao Sheng. I will not go back on my word. Even now, you still want to sow discord? Ao Zhan stopped behind Ao Sheng and said indifferently, which one of us are you going to let go of? You better say it now. I will tell him that you are dragons of heavenly abode river. The great demon was stunned when he heard Ao Zhan expose his painstakingly planned plan to sow discord. However, he quickly sneered. Since all of you are already here, don't even think about turning back. You were the one who captured Daoist Xiao? Ao Zhantian suddenly asked loudly. The great demon coldly glanced at him and said, You have no right to know. What if it was me? Ao Sheng stared at the great demon and asked, Do I have the right? Even Ao Zhan asked, Since we have no chance of survival, why don't you tell us the truth so that we can die in peace? Haha, although this has nothing to do with me, why should I tell you? The spirit creature laughed out loud, looked at the dozens of dragons and yelled, The banquet is about to begin, and our king has been urging us to serve the dishes. Let's hurry up and kill these human beings and dragons, make them into delicacies and send them to our king, shall we? If we are too late, the other demon generals will kill the disciples of Soaring Dragon Mountain Range first and serve them to our king. Won't we lose the merit? All right. The rainbow dragon opened his mouth and shouted, Just thinking about the small elders of Dragon Island dying in front of me makes me excited. Just as the demonic beasts were about to make their move, boom. However, there was another loud explosion in the sky above the demonic beasts. A towering pillar of fire shot out from the ground in the distance, piercing high into the dark clouds. An imposing aura that made all the demonic beasts prostrate themselves before spread out in all directions in a domineering manner. The great demon was slightly stunned. However, when the pillar of fire pierced into the sky, the dark clouds did not dissipate. Even the snowflakes that were as big as a mat were not melted by the pillar of fire. Instead, they were still floating freely in the pillar of fire. The great demon couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha ha, I understand now. This is the image of the heavenly dam water prison that suppressed Xiaohua. Human cultivators, take a look. Is Xiaohua the one you want to save under the pillar of fire? There was no need for the great demon to say anything else. Although the image formed by the pillar of fire appeared to be far away, it was extremely close. Not only were the flame patterns on the pillar of fire clearly visible, even the small white dragon suppressed at the bottom of the pillar of fire could be seen clearly. Roar! Ao Sheng let out a furious roar. The golden light around his dragon body flashed rapidly, and he pounced toward the pillar of light. He shouted, Damned by Qingyu! How dare you humiliate the Dragon Master of Dragon Island? I'm going to kill you all. Haha, the face of your dragon tribe is meant to be trampled on. The colorful dragon laughed loudly. His dragon tail, which was even thicker than Ao Sheng's body, swept through the air and smashed toward Ao Sheng. Kill. The great demon also issued a cold command. Bai Qingyu's demon soldiers and generals did not dare to hesitate. They all controlled their demon clouds and prepared to pounce toward Ao Zhantian and the other human cultivators. Chapter 4372. Haha, haha, ha ha ha. Right at this moment, a burst of soft laughter sounded from behind the humans and dragons. This laughter was filled with profound meaning, mockery, and sorrow. As soon as this laughter rang out, the space within a radius of 500 kilometers began to freeze, and even the falling snowflakes seemed to have sensed the chilling intent behind the laughter as they froze in midair. "Who's there?" The great beast and rainbow dragon were greatly alarmed as they quickly swept their vital senses through the air. Boom! Wherever their vital senses passed, they were blocked by a mountainous being. When their eyes landed on the python dragon that Xiao Hua had transformed into, they were greeted by the sight of him slowly flying toward them. "Ao, fellow immortal Ao?" Ao Zhantian, Shui Mingzi, and even Su Tingzi were all dumbfounded. They didn't expect that the boa dragon that liked to curry favor with people of culture still hadn't left. Moreover, it had appeared at such a critical moment. Moreover, the boa dragon's strength was actually so terrifying. Your. The great beast's cultivation base was far superior to Ao Zhantian's, and he hurriedly asked upon sensing that something was amiss. Unfortunately, without waiting for him to finish speaking, Wang, within 1,000 feet of the python dragon, a whirlwind that soared into the sky was born. Within this whirlwind, the python dragon's body slowly shrank, and Xiao Hua's tall and thin figure was revealed little by little. Xiao Hua? Ao Zhan was truly astonished. He looked at Xiao Hua's frosty face with incredulity, then at the little white dragon's face that had been suppressed by the pillar of flames. There was no difference between these two faces. When Ao Zhan's gaze returned to him, he was greeted by an incredulous scene. Boom! Xiao Hua, who had reverted to his human form, suddenly emanated a Taoist might. This might climbed steadily, but it didn't spread into the distance. Moments later, the space within a radius of close to 10 kilometers began to cave in, and layers of twisted light projections began to appear around Xiao Hua's body, making it appear as if Xiao Hua's body wasn't very real. Within this light projection, the ferocious ferocity of tens of thousands of people surged into the hearts of the humans and demons like a tidal wave. Not to mention the humankind and the humankind. Even the lofty dragons couldn't help but tremble. Their bodies, which had been extremely arrogant before, were forced to shrink slowly. A Mahayana cultivator? Ao Zhantian's expression changed drastically. Say, who are you, senior? You are not Taoist Master Xiao. At the same time, Ao Zhantian suddenly came to his senses. Without any hesitation, he knelt on the ground and said anxiously, Junior Ao Zhantian begs Senior to save Xiao Hua. He is one of the few people in this world with a heart of steel and a heart of chivalry. Just as Ao Zhantian's body knelt down, an incomparably gentle force emerged. Even though he was a 5th-grade elemental energy cultivator, he didn't have any ability to resist and could only stand up with the force of this force. Xiao Hua didn't look at Ao Zhantian. Instead, he stared coldly at the great demon and the rainbow dragon. Didn't you want to kill Xiao Hua? Now that I'm here, I'd like to see how you're going to kill him. While speaking, Xiao Hua waved his 2 hands, and 2 large hands appeared out of thin air, grabbing at the great demon and the colorful dragon at the same time. Under the giant hands, the space within a radius of 100 kilometers was sealed. Both the great demon and the colorful dragon were startled. The 2 great demon immediately activated their divine abilities in an attempt to escape. The great demon's wings flapped rapidly, causing ripples to appear in the nearby space. Black and white light scuttled out from the ripples. Unfortunately, before his figure could even move, Xiao Hua's giant hand had already descended. The great demon hurriedly opened his mouth again, and several crimson-red demonic lights rushed out in an attempt to block the giant hand. The demonic lights immediately collapsed upon colliding with the giant hands. Even the great demon's tail struck the giant hands. However, the countless divine abilities were nothing more than a bluff in the face of the giant hands. The giant hands closed, and the 7th-grade great demon, Swallowing Sun, was caught in Xiao Hua's hands. Looking at Xiao Hua's other hand, the colorful dragon's horns shot out beams of light, its dragon chi spat out from its mouth, and its claws that could tear through space were all unable to stop the giant hands for even a second. The great demon, who was several times stronger than the great demon race, was caught by Xiao Hua's giant hands, just like grabbing a small snake. If you dare to touch me, my clan's divine ancestor will definitely not forgive you. The great demon screamed hysterically, and his voice was filled with fear. Hee hee, Xiao Hua sneered. A green light flashed between his eyebrows, and dozens of soul strands instantly pierced into the great demon's forehead. The great demon's screams immediately disappeared, and his entire body twitched violently, appearing to be in great pain. Damn it! The colorful dragon was shocked. How could he not know that Xiao Hua was soul-searching? He cursed angrily, and the colorful light around his body flourished. However, the colorful light merely flickered for a moment before extinguishing. At the same time, his dragon body was also twitching in the giant hands. Seeing this, Ao Zhan was shocked, because Xiao Hua was soul-searching two great demons at the same time. This was something that Ao Zhan didn't dare to imagine. Within 1,000 kilometers, it was filled with a strange aura. The snowflakes didn't fly, and the wind didn't howl. Only Xiao Hua, who was about 3 meters tall, stood there proudly, as if he was the center of the world. In just a short moment, Xiao Hua's brows furrowed slightly. Then, the two giant hands moved at the same time. Pa, pa. Two loud sounds rang out at the same time. Two streaks of blood-red light soared into the sky. The great demon's body and the colorful dragon's body were crushed by Xiao Hua's giant hands. When the giant hands threw down the two disfigured corpses, the crowd couldn't help but tremble. They had seen ferocious cultivators, but they had never seen a ferocious person who could crush a dragon's body with his bare hands. At this time, Xiao Hua was really anxious and furious. With a wave of his hand, the Kunlun mirror appeared out of thin air. As the light beam swayed, the black bear, white lion, and golden eagle rushed out. Then, under the crowd's astonishment, the Fortune Gates army of 200,002 lightning boats were released from the Shenhua continent. No one dared to make a sound. After the army of 200,000 was ready, Xiao Hua raised his hand and pointed at the fire pillar in the sky. He looked at the black bear and the other two great demons and said, "Do you see this? This Xiao has only been away for 200 years, and my dignity has been trampled on like this." Although Bai Qingyu doesn't have the ability to suppress, she has the intention to suppress. What do you think we should do? Under the fire pillar, Xiao Hua, whom they worshipped like a god, was struggling in pain. Even though they knew that this Xiao Hua was not the Xiao Hua in front of them, they were still shocked. Whether it was the black bear, the other two great demons, or the hundreds of thousands of Fortune Gates disciples, their eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. The black bear crouched in the air and shouted, "Master, please rest assured. This black bear requests an order from Master. Give black bear 200,000 disciples. This black bear will definitely bathe Bai Qingyu in blood and wash away our shame with the blood of a beast king. Go." Xiao Hua waved his hand and ordered, "Bathe Bai Qingyu in blood." Yes, bathe Bai Qingyu in blood. Bathe Bai Qingyu in blood. The black bear was overjoyed and shouted loudly. The 200,000 disciples drove the lightning boats, and amidst the rumbling of thunder, they rushed towards Bai Qingyu. "Many thanks, Senior." Even now, Ao Sheng and Ao Zhan still did not dare to recognize Xiao Hua as their dragon master. They hurriedly bowed to express their gratitude. Xiao Hua smiled faintly and was about to say something when he frowned. His divine sense swept towards the distance, and when he found that his divine sense was blocked, he waved his hand and tens of thousands of disciples flew out from the Kunlun mirror. Xiao Hua had no time to explain. He pointed at Ao Zhantian and said, "This is an old acquaintance of mine. Ao Zhantian, listen to his orders." "Yes." The disciple leading the troops did not dare to delay and respectfully answered. Xiao Hua then released Yuanya, Daoish Jingting, and Xian Songzi. He pointed at Ao Sheng and said, "Yeah, this is Ao Sheng. You've seen him before. Help him subdue these dragons. If they dare to resist, kill them all." "Yes, master." Yuanya held the devil spear in his hand, exuding an imposing aura. He acknowledged Xiao Hua's order, and his gaze fell on the dragons. Before he could do anything, the bone dragon's terrifying aura on the devil's spear had already scared the dragons out of their wits. Xiaohua then pointed in another direction and said, Xian Songzi, Daoist Jingting, Zhai Xingzi, and the others are there. The two of you are responsible for protecting them. Yes, yes. Xian Songzi and Zhenren Jingting were the first to cultivate scattered nascent souls, but they were different from Xiaohua's 100 or so scattered nascent souls. They had their own consciousness, and Xiaohua didn't dare to use his own method to refine them. Therefore, they didn't spend all their time cultivating in Xiaohua's dantian, and their progress wasn't as fast as other scattered nascent souls. Even so, as the saying goes, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. The two scattered nascent souls had already crossed 7 tribulations and reached the mid-level of the 7th grade. At this time, the two of them did not dare to delay after hearing Xiaohua's order. They bowed and rushed in the direction Xiaohua had pointed. Xiaohua's figure was like a rainbow as he soared into the sky. His voice sounded behind him, After you're done here, go to the fire pillar. We'll all come to buy Qingyu for the banquet. Yes, master, Yuanya answered. A group of Fortune Gate disciples had already surrounded the space. This is really Dragon Master Xiaohua. Seeing Yuanya's appearance, Ao Shang came to a realization. After all, he had seen Yuanya on the Dragon Island. However, looking at Yuanya's strength of the 7th level of origin power, he really did not dare to believe it. It had only been 200 years. How did they become so strong? All of a sudden, Ao Shang screamed again. Looking at the little white dragon in pain under the fire pillar, he screamed to Ao Zhan, Damn it, I know it now. This is the little white dragon. Others might not know about it, but Ao Shang and Ao Zhan were well aware of it. Back on Dragon Island, Xiaohua, the little white dragon who had just formed his body, and Reverend Yuan had fought Long Si and the dimensional monsters with them. Suppressing the little white dragon is no different from suppressing Xiaohua. Ao Zhan also came to a realization and said coldly, This Bai Qingyu really deserves to die. It's not just Bai Qingyu who deserves to die, the ancient Bell Mountain also deserves to die. Ao Zhantian's face turned cold as he looked at Shui Mingzi, who was so regretful that he wanted to dig out his intestines to clean them. Chapter 43-73. Although Xiongyi had led over 10,000 Fortune Gate disciples over, and the Endless Merchant Union had sent over a few thousand demonic beasts to help, they were still too weak. However, in the face of tens of thousands of demon generals and demon soldiers, Zhai Xingzi and the others were still in dire straits. Facing such a hopeless situation, Zhai Xingzi and the others didn't have any regrets. Death was inevitable in a person's life. Even among cultivators, how many could live forever? Death could be as light as a feather or as heavy as a mountain. Whether it was a feather or a mountain, it was the judgment of others. At the end of the day, life and death were still controlled by one's own heart. In the eyes of others, Zhai Xingzi and the others might have died out of blind loyalty or stupidity, but the four of them had no regrets in their hearts. In the face of death, the great Tao seemed incomparably clear. The calmness in their hearts was truly the sail towards the great Tao. However, there was always a way out, and the heavenly Tao wouldn't let down those with a pure heart. Just as Bai Qingyu crazily showed off the image of her suppressing the little white dragon to the sky, Zhai Xingzi and Zhang Daoran saw that the humans were already surrounded by tens of thousands of demonic beasts, and all their efforts were about to turn into flowing water. Just as they were about to die, they saw a towering killing intent rushing towards them from another direction behind them. Streams of heaven and earth origin energy condensed into a complete chi wave and poured down like a tidal wave. This scene was akin to tens of thousands of nascent soul cultivators circulating their magic power at the same time. It wasn't something they had seen before. They couldn't help but be shocked, and their faces turned even paler. Could it be? The two of them thought at the same time. Is this another ambush by Bai Qingyu? Could it be that she thinks that all the Tao Gate cultivators of the hidden immortal mainland will come to save Xiaohua? As they thought about it, they still released their divine sense. When they saw the tens of thousands of Fortune Gate disciples 1,000 miles away, their eyeballs almost fell to the ground. The two of them looked at each other and cried out, No, no way, right? All the nascent soul cultivators of the hidden immortal mainland came to save. Xiaohua. Chiu. Chiuer. Zhai Xingzi's voice trembled as he said to Gusu Qiudi in surprise, We're saved. Oh? Gusu Qiudi's injuries were extremely severe. She was no longer able to release her divine sense, much less use the eye-clearing technique. She also looked into the distance in shock. Her mouth was slightly agape as she asked curiously, could it be that they are our reinforcements? Phew. Zhai Xingzi took a deep breath and said, that's right. In order to save Taoist Master Xiao, all the Taoist cultivators in the hidden immortal continent have come. How is this possible? Gusu Qiudi shouted, although Taoist Zhao's benevolence is unparalleled in the world. But his charm doesn't seem to be enough to make all the Taoist cultivators of the hidden immortal continent come to his rescue, right? That's right. We've all underestimated Taoist Master Xiao. Zhai Xingzi smiled. If he can show kindness to us, he can naturally show kindness to other cultivators as well. Looks like Gongshui Xian is really blind. What does this have to do with Gongshui Xian? Gusu Qiudi pouted and snuggled into Zhai Xingzi's arms. Looks like we still have time. That's right. Zhai Xingzi hugged Gusu Qiudi and looked at his opponent. Those by Qingyu demons were also stunned. They all left Zhai Xingzi and the others and flew to other places to check out the situation. Xiaohua, Xiaohua, Xiaohua. Sun Kong Shangren was almost killed by that demon general. At this moment, he had just flown to Zhang Daren's side. He also released his divine sense. Seeing such a magnificent scene, he couldn't help but slap his own thigh. Damn it, I really admire you. If I knew that you'd be able to convince the entire hidden immortal continent, I wouldn't have risked my life to come and save you. However, after a moment, Sun Kong Shangren was bewildered again. He asked in a low voice, Brother Daoran, looking at the situation, I'm afraid there are more than 300,000 nascent soul cultivators? Can our hidden immortal continent have so many nascent soul cultivators? That's right. Zhang Daoran was also at a loss. He patted his head and smiled bitterly. I can be considered an out-of-body grandmaster. How can I still be so ignorant? How come I never knew there were so many nascent soul cultivators in the hidden immortal continent? As Zhang Daoran was talking, he suddenly felt a chill in his heart. He activated his spiritual power, and the snow flew up. Not only did it protect him and Sun Kong Shangren, but it also protected Zhai Xingzi and Gusu Qiudi. Then, he turned his head and looked behind him. He said coldly, What? I just fought with the demon race. Are you going to loot a burning house? Is the Xianhuang token so shameless? Behind Zhang Daoran and the others, more than 10 Confucian cultivators of the Xianhuang token had quietly surrounded them. The leading Confucian cultivator had already taken out his weapon. Hearing Zhang Daren's reprimand, the Confucian cultivator smiled and said, Hee, we're assassins. We only know how to follow orders. Damn it! Sun Kong Shangren cried bitterly. I didn't die in the hands of the demon race, but now I'm dying in the hands of the human race. I really can't accept this, kill. Seeing that hundreds of thousands of nascent soul cultivators were approaching, the Confucian cultivators of the Xianhuang token did not dare to stay any longer. The leading Confucian cultivator ordered, and more than 10 Confucian cultivators activated their spiritual qi at the same time. Pillars of Aoran qi rushed out of the void. Not only did they fall on the Confucian cultivators, but they also surrounded Zhang Daoran and the others. Zhang Daoran and the others were no match for the Confucian cultivators of the Xianhuang token. Now that they were seriously injured, how could they fight back? Under the Aoran qi, Zhang Daren's snow was knocked away, and the murderous brilliance approached the four again. Damn it! At this critical moment, a voice that all four of them were familiar with rang out. Then, with a rumble, high up in the sky, layer after layer of lightning suddenly appeared. Then, like the wrath of the gods, it violently poured down, enveloping an area of over 10 miles. The lightning was so ferocious that each strand of lightning was filled with anger. Each strand of light could blind a person's eyes. In the eyes of Zhang Daoran and the others, the almost unstoppable attacks of the Xianhuang token cultivators were instantly turned into nothingness when they touched the thunder. The entire space of more than 10 miles was distorted by the impact of the thunder. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 fifth-grade elemental energy chi refinement cultivators and divine Confucian cultivators were turned into bloodstains amidst the lightning. In this blood fog, the primordial spirits of more than 10 Confucian cultivators had no chance to escape at all. They were all killed by the thunder. Gusu Chiodi was stunned. She was a Confucian cultivator of the middle 5th grade. How could she not know the power of these Confucian cultivators who were close to the 6th grade? But these cultivators were killed in an instant. What was the cultivation of the person who killed them? Xiaohua? Zhai Xingzi looked at the boiling thunder in front of him and thought of the familiar voice from before. It seemed that every thunder had Xiaohua's smiling face. He could not help but cry out, tears flowing out of his eyes. Impossible. Gusu Chiodi and Zhai Xingzi's minds were connected. She shouted first. No matter how powerful Daoist Xiao is, he can only reach the 6th grade in 200 years at most. If this is Xiaohua, then Gongshu Yisin should dig out her own eyeballs. At this point, Sun Kong shouted loudly, "Of course it's impossible. Daoist Xiao is still suppressed under the fire pillar." Zhang Daoran and the others hurriedly turned around. Sure enough, the little white dragon under the fire pillar was still struggling. Kill for lousy. At this moment, a hysterical roar came from the distant sky. This Bai Qingyu actually dared to insult Master. Does she even put lousy, a black bear guard, in her eyes? If I don't flatten Bai Qingyu today, lousy will guard Master's back door. Black bear spirit? Zhang Daoran had never been to Black Wind Ridge, so he naturally did not know about black bears. When he saw the black bear spirit, he exclaimed, Why is it a demon? No. Gusu Chiodi was the most attentive. She laughed and said, Didn't you hear what he said? If she insulted his master, then isn't his master Xiaohua? But Zhai Xingzi frowned even more. This black bear spirit is probably at the 6th grade of essence energy, or even close to the 7th grade, right? How could he guard Xiaohua's back door? Kill. At this moment, beside the black bear spirit, white lion and golden condor also appeared. Each of them had a monstrous aura and covered the ground. They shouted loudly, "Massacre Bai Qingyu and vent Master's anger." How could Xiaohua have 3 demons at the 6th grade of essence energy guarding his abode? Sun Kong was also completely confused. Woo! Just at this moment, a powerful divine sense came from the distance like a hurricane. It wrapped around Sun Kong and the others and immediately stopped. The divine sense didn't withdraw, and it actually completely sealed off the area. Damn it! Which senior is this? Feeling the power of the divine sense and the wonder of its use, Zhang Daoran, who was already numb from the shock of surprise, said with a bitter smile, "Is this protecting us?" Brother Daoran. At this moment, a distorted light figure was cast over from afar like the brilliance of a kaleidoscope. When that light figure condensed into a human figure in front of Zhang Daoran, that human figure bowed and saluted. Say, Taoist Master Jingting? Although Zhang Daoran wasn't particularly familiar with Taoist Master Jingting, he always looked familiar. Now that he saw Taoist Master Jingting standing in front of him with a smile, he couldn't help but be bewildered. He cried out in surprise, when did you actually cultivate to the body integration realm?" At this moment, the light shadow behind Taoist Jingting was still swaying and hadn't completely disappeared. The space within 1,000 feet began to ripple. Waves of ripples sprayed out from the space like a fountain. A moment later, another cultivator with an extraordinary bearing appeared from within. Xian Songzi? Zhai Xingzi shouted as if he had seen a ghost. You and this old man made an appointment to attend the Jadastige gathering together at Yaodai Mountain. When this old man didn't see you, I thought something happened to you. How come it's only been 200 years, and you've also cultivated to the body integration realm? What kind of opportunity did you encounter? Chapter 4374. Greetings, fellow Taoist Zhai Xingzi. Xian Songzi revealed a smile at the corner of his mouth. He withdrew the essence soul restriction that sealed the surroundings of Zhai Xing Zi and the others before bowing and saying, Junior Brother Jingting and I have come under Master's orders to protect the four of you. Your master? Sun Kong frowned and asked curiously, Your master is Grand Mist Ancestor, right? He seems to have an ordinary relationship with us. Haha. Daoist Jingting laughed and said, My master. Zhai Xing Zi and the others immediately pricked up their ears, wanting to know who Daoist Jingting and Xian Songzi's master was. Unfortunately, Xian Songzi interrupted Daoist Jingting and said with a smile, Master only ordered us to protect the four of you. He didn't tell us to reveal his name. All right. Daoist Master Jingting smiled. Of course, he knew that Xiaohua didn't care about revealing his name. However, looking at Xiaohua under the fire pillar in the distance, Daoist Master Jingting was also bewildered. He simply followed Xian Songzi's words and said, In that case, let's wait for Master's orders. It must be Xiaohua. Although Daoist Jingting and Xian Songzi didn't say it, Gusu Chudi said, Gongshu Yisin is going to gouge her eyes out. Oh? How do you know? Zhai Xing Zi asked in confusion. There are 3 reasons. Gusu Chudi said with a smile. First, the voice just now was Xiaohua's voice. Second, Daoist Jingting and Xian Songzi can cultivate from nascent soul to body fusion. It's not strange that Xiaohua can cultivate to 9th grade. Third, a woman's intuition. Ha ha ha. Zhai Xingzi hugged his lover and laughed. If it's really Xiaohua, then I'll invite Daoist Xiao to the Gusu family to propose marriage. I'd like to see who dares to not give face to a Grand Ascension cultivator. Hee hee. Gusu Chudi laughed until her eyes narrowed. She said in a low voice, even if it's not Xiaohua, it has a lot to do with Xiaohua. Husband can also ask Xiaohua to invite this senior to the Gusu family. If it's Xiaohua then, Zhang Daoren pointed at the little white dragon in the fire pillar and asked, Who is this? Xian Songzi took out a pill and handed it to Gusu Chudi. Fellow immortal, this is a pill concocted by I. Take it first and see what happens. If it doesn't work, I will ask Martial Uncle to bestow upon you the medicinal pills used by Confucian cultivators. All right. Gusu Chudi smiled as she took the pill. However, she suddenly realized something and exclaimed, What? You have an uncle master? What is his cultivation level? Hee hee. Xian Songzi replied in a boastful manner. What do you think, fellow immortal? Your master is already at the Mahayana stage. Martial Uncle should be a literary sage, right? Gusu Chudi probed. Could it be that he's a literary star? This is impossible. Haha, fellow immortal, you don't have to guess anymore. Daoist Jingting said with a smile, 4 fellow Daoists, please follow us to Bai Qingyu. Master has instructed us to attend Qing Bo's banquet. Fellow Daoists. Exalted Master Sun Kong wasn't particularly familiar with Daoist Jingting and Xian Songzi. He bowed and said, If possible, I would like to ask the 2 fellow Daoists to lend a hand and ask the 2 fellow Daoists Master to save Daoist Xiao. Fellow Daoist, don't worry. Daoist Jingting said with a smile. Master brought 200,000 disciples to save him. 4 thunderbolts blasted Zhai Xing Zi, Gusu Chudi, Zhang Daoran, and Exalted Master Sun Kong unconscious. After half a cup of tea's time, Gusu Chudi gasped and said in a low voice, These 200,000 nascent soul cultivators are all your descendants? You're from the same sect? Since when did our hidden immortal continent have a Dao cultivator sect? It was an indescribable shock. They originally thought that these 200,000 nascent soul cultivators were all the Dao cultivators in the entire hidden immortal continent, but Zhang Daoran and the rest didn't expect that these were merely the nascent soul disciples of a Dao cultivator sect. It wasn't that their imagination wasn't rich enough, it was because they didn't dare to imagine. Let's talk about this after we meet Master. Xian Songzi and Daoist Jingting smiled without saying anything. They raised their hands and said, Please. Gusu Chudi thought that she had discovered the truth of the matter, but when she heard that there was another Confucian cultivator who was at least a literary saint, she lost all confidence in her guess. Although Xiaohua could miraculously cultivate to the Grand Ascension stage, Where would he find another literary saint junior brother? When Zhai Xingzi and the rest fell into a dead end, Xiong Yi and the rest of the Fortune Gate's disciples were also in a desperate situation. Xiong Yi couldn't help but want to roar as he watched his disciples die in front of him. He activated his sword pillar and killed one demon soldier after another, but how could the lives of these demon soldiers be compared to the lives of the Fortune Gate's disciples? Xiong Yi's heart was bleeding. Prince Lan's mood wasn't any better. He regretted not killing Xiong Yi outside the battlefield so that he could bring these Fortune Gate's disciples back to the soaring Dragon Mountain range. Seeing that Xiong Yi was blocked by a demon general, Prince Lan hurriedly released his divine sense to search for Taoist Master Qing Su, who was hiding among the Fortune Gate's disciples. Prince Lan. Sure enough, Taoist Master Qing Su's voice sounded 1,000 zhang away from Prince Lan. Are you going to make a move? Prince Lan, it's not too late to make a move now. If you delay any longer, all of Bai Qingyu's demon soldiers will surround us, and we won't even be able to escape. Another voice sounded. Prince Lan was shocked. Venerable Master Fan Tian? When did you arrive? Not just me. Venerable Master Fan Tian laughed. The Ancestor has also sent over a dozen nascent soul and leaving Aperture Realm cultivators to help you. As long as you give the order now, we will immediately make you the master of the soaring Dragon Mountain range. Otherwise, we will prepare to retreat now. After all, Bai Qingyu isn't someone a few nascent soul realm cultivators like us can defeat. Fine. Prince Lan looked at the corpses all over the ground. Humans and demons were mixed together. He gritted his teeth and said, I've decided, right at this time. The 200,000 Fortune Gate's iron-blooded disciples drove their lightning boats out from the left. Their imposing aura filled the entire battlefield. Not only Prince Lan and Xiong Yi, but even Taoist Qing Su and Venerable Master Fan Tian were shocked. When the Fortune Gate's disciples came closer and everyone's divine sense swept over them, they couldn't help but be surprised and delighted. Xiong Yi controlled his sword pillar to dodge the demon general's attack and shouted, Disciples, our human race has reinforcements. Several 100,000 nascent soul realm disciples are enough to flatten Bai Qingyu. Kill, yes? All of the soaring Dragon Mountain range's disciples didn't know what was going on, but their hearts were filled with hope and their morale was greatly boosted. Venerable Master Fan Tian. Prince Lan was also in a daze. He transmitted his voice to Venerable Master Fan Tian. Are these the cultivators you mentioned? The Ancestor actually has so many disciples? Venerable Master Fan Tian naturally didn't understand what was going on, but when he heard Prince Lan's question, he replied proudly, Of course they aren't my disciples. However, if there is a possibility, then there is only one possibility. This is the Ancestor's arrangement. In this world, only our Grand Mist Ancestor has such a big hand. Kill. At this point, how could Prince Lan not know what to do? He roared and pounced towards the demon general. How could Venerable Master Fan Tian not understand the meaning behind his words? Venerable Master Qing Su leaped up and pounced on Xiong Yi. Kill for me. At this time, in the distant sky, the black bear spirit's hysterical roar entered Prince Lan's and the others' ears. Prince Lan turned pale with fright and hurriedly released his divine sense. The black bear spirit, who hadn't appeared in the sky a moment ago, had actually activated his demonic cloud and revealed the strength of a 6th-grade origin Qi realm great demon. Beside him, the golden eagle and white lion also revealed their figures. Not good. Prince Lan frantically shouted, This is my Fortune Gate's disciple. Venerable Master Qing Su and Venerable Master Fan Tian were about to attack, but when they heard Prince Lan shout, their hearts trembled and they quickly stopped. The two of them looked at each other and quietly retreated. Xiong Yi, who was facing countless murderous intents, naturally didn't notice Venerable Master Qing Su and Venerable Master Fan Tian's ambush. When he heard the black bear spirit's roar and Prince Lan's shout, he hurriedly withdrew and released his divine sense. Sure enough, in the sky behind him, the golden eagle spread its wings and swept away all the snowflakes floating in the air. Its huge demonic body revealed the strength of a 6th-grade origin Qi realm cultivator. What's going on? Xiong Yi was stunned. He hurriedly urged his body to fly up into the sky. At this time, a voice came from not far away. Is Brother Xiong in front? Oh? Xiongyi was slightly taken aback and hurriedly turned his head. He saw Venerable Master Qing Su and Venerable Master Fan Tian flying over with smiles on their faces. Venerable Master Qing Su? Xiongyi had seen Venerable Master Qing Su in front of the Yaodai Mountain. He was a little surprised to see Venerable Master Qing Su here. We are under the orders of the Grand Mist Ancestor to bring a dozen cultivators to rescue Venerable Xiao. Venerable Master Qing Su explained sincerely. When Xiongyi heard this, a smile appeared on his face. He bowed and said, "Thank you, brother. Thank you for your concern for my master." "You're welcome." Venerable Master Qing Su helped Xiongyi up with a smile and said, "You and I are both from the Tao sect. When one of us is in trouble, we naturally need help from all sides. Currently, in the hidden immortal continent, only Venerable Xiao can enter my master's eyes. How can my master not come to rescue Venerable Xiao?" At this point, Venerable Master Qing Su said with a puzzled expression, "But what's going on with these hundreds of thousands of cultivators?" "This," Xiongyi smiled bitterly and said, "I don't know either. When I figure it out, I will tell you in detail. In addition, when Bai Qingyu's matter is over, I will inform my master of your great kindness and ask him to make a decision." "Well said. Well said. We'll talk about everything after this matter is over." Venerable Master Qing Su smiled and turned to Venerable Master Fan Tian and said, "Senior Brother Fan Tian, how about we join hands and attack Bai Qingyu?" "Okay." Venerable Master Fan Tian laughed loudly. The two of them no longer spoke to Xiongyi and attacked Bai Qingyu with their techniques. Chapter 4375. Senior Brother Xiong, what is going on? Cold sweat dripped down Lan's back. He flew to Xiongyi's side and asked loudly, "Are these hundreds of thousands of disciples really my Fortune Gates disciples?" "How would I know?" Xiongyi felt an indescribable joy in his heart, but he still lowered his voice and said, "I'm just using them to boost the disciples' morale. As for the details, I'll have to ask Black Bear." "Let's go." Prince Lan had a guilty conscience, so he was naturally nervous as he urged Xiongyi. Xiongyi and Lan flew high up in the sky and were immediately spotted by the golden condor. The golden condor flapped its wings and arrived in front of the two before Black Bear. It transformed into its human form and bowed. Golden Condor greets the two young masters. "Are you really the Golden Condor?" Lan was in disbelief. After all, the Golden Condor's ferocious aura was much stronger than the demonic beast generals he had encountered before. "Yes, this lowly one is the Golden Condor." The Golden Condor replied indifferently. Although it addressed Lan as the young master, it was Xiao Hua's demonic beast guardian. From its point of view, it was closer to Xiao Hua. "Are these hundreds of thousands of nascent soul cultivators my Fortune Gates disciples?" Xiongyi asked again. "Yes." The Golden Condor nodded. "These 200,000 disciples are the Fortune Gates disciples personally trained by Master." "How is that possible?" Prince Lan exclaimed. "Hasn't he been suppressed by Monster Monarch Bikinjiu all these years? How could he train so many nascent soul cultivators?" At this moment, the 200,000 iron-blooded army had already charged past Xiongyi and His Highness Lan. The two thunderbolts rumbled as they charged towards the depths of Bai Qingyu. Bai Qingyu's demons didn't put up much resistance in this torrent and were all killed. Even if there were dozens of 6th-grade demonic beast generals, there were still severed divinity stage disciples among the Fortune Gates disciples who flew out and killed them. How could Lan believe that every single Fortune Gates disciple had a higher cultivation than him? The one suppressed by Bai Qingyu wasn't Master. The Golden Condor replied, "As for how Master trained these disciples, he will naturally explain it to the young master." Xiongyi, Prince Lan. At this moment, the Black Bear's spirit flew over. After calling out to them affectionately, he seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly kept his wild waves. He bowed and said, "Black Bear greets the two young sect masters." Seeing Black Bear being so respectful towards him, Xiongyi smiled and said, "Now that you are a 6th-grade essence energy, this Xiong is merely a 4th-grade essence energy. You are this Xiong senior. I don't dare. I don't dare. Black Bear was a little arrogant, but he was only respectful. Black Bear is only the old master's gatekeeper. I can't be compared to young sect master. Where is master? His Highness Lon asked again. I don't know either. Black Bear laughed. Master has already arrived a step earlier. I don't know where he went. See. His Highness Lon was shocked, and cold sweat immediately appeared on his back. Black Bear, tell me honestly, you are already at 6th grade essence force. Where is master? Xiongyi had a clear conscience, and there was only ecstasy in his heart. He understood that since Xiao Hua was able to nurture an ordinary Fortune Gate disciple into a nascent soul realm cultivator, and even a nascent soul realm cultivator, then as Xiao Hua's disciple, his future was limitless. Does that even need to be said? White Lion also flew over and laughed. From today onwards, our Fortune Gates disciples can do whatever they want in the 3 mainlands. This is too inconceivable, too inconceivable. Xiongyi really didn't know how to express his incomparably wild emotions. Bear Palm Sect Master. At this time, Ingpo also flew over and shouted, What's going on? Haha, my master is here. Xiongyi laughed loudly. These 200,000 nascent soul realm disciples are all my Fortune Gates disciples. That's impossible, right? Ingpo was still alive, and he looked at everyone in confusion. He then looked at the little white dragon inside the fire pillar and said, If Master Xiao is here, then who is being suppressed under the fire pillar? Black Bear's spirit shrugged and shook his head. Old Master didn't say, so I don't know either. Boom. At this time, a burst of devil chi soared into the sky, and a figure flashed by. Bai Qingyu, a 7th grade essence force great beast, was killed, and the commotion immediately attracted everyone's attention. Is that Yuanya? Prince Lan's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. When did he become so fierce? Haha, the fierceness is yet to come. Black Bear's spirit laughed. Black Bear is about to swallow the sun, and Ye is old master's inner disciple. How can he be worse than Black Bear? Black Bear's spirit said in a low voice, Xiongyi, I boasted in front of master that I would massacre Bai Qingyu. You also know that I can fight alone, but when it comes to mobilizing troops, I'm not even fit to carry your shoes. You have to help me. Oh, these disciples don't know you. Just give the order. I'll pass it to you. Haha. Xiongyi laughed and said, With these 200,000 disciples, why would I need to mobilize troops? Wouldn't it be easier to just flatten Bai Qingyu? Hee hee. Black Bear's spirit only laughed and didn't dare to reply. Since Xiongyi said so, he naturally didn't dare to be careless. He released his divine sense and began to pass down the order. Xiongyi was even more shocked when he saw the 200,000 disciples advancing in an orderly manner. This was clearly an army that had been on the battlefield for a long time. With such an army, who in the 3 mainlands could be the Fortune Gates opponent? Xiongyi had never seen such a battle formation before. Xiao Hua was also anxious. Seeing the little white dragon suppressed by the fire pillar and the Fortune Gates disciples fighting on the battlefield, he sent out 200,000 Fortune Gates Iron Army. Back in the ruins, when the Devil Race invaded, the Fortune Gate only sent out 200,000 disciples. Those 200,000 disciples roamed the southwest of the ruins, saved 8 sects from danger, and defeated the Devil Race. Their fame spread far and wide. Now, how could a small Bai Qingyu compare to the Devil Race? Although these 200,000 disciples weren't all the original 200,000 disciples, the main force was still there. Facing Bai Qingyu's demon soldiers and generals, these 200,000 Fortune Gates disciples were like a flood that washed over the land. The several 100,000 demonic beast cultivators who tried to resist were like small ripples in the water as they were annihilated. The several 100,000 demonic beast cultivators who were holding back the rear also hurried over to meet the battle. Seeing such an unstoppable attack, Xiongyi was shocked. He flew to the Black Bear spirit's side and opened his mouth, but no words came out. Not only were these Fortune Gates disciples powerful, but their teamwork was also very good. More importantly, there was a cultivator who was better at commanding than him. Xiongyi had already noticed that after he gave out his orders, the Fortune Gate's disciples would complete their tasks to the letter. Moreover, they would also reorganize some details that he hadn't thought of. Moreover, this situation didn't happen in one place, but in different areas of the 200,000 disciples. In other words, there were many disciples who were commanding the battle. At this point, Xiongyi was too embarrassed to give any orders. He looked at the Black Bear spirit and said, "Black Bear, Master asked you to command this battle, because he has a card up his sleeve. Why are you pulling me?" "Ah, is that so?" The Black Bear spirit naturally couldn't see the reason. He scratched his head and said, "How would I know? I'm just afraid of messing up Master's plan. Then what do you think we should do?" "Easy." Xiongyi looked at Prince Lan, then at the Golden Condor and White Lion. He smiled and said, "Just 5 words." Say it, say it." The Black Bear spirit urged. "Bathe by Qingyu in blood." Xiongyi replied word by word. "Humph, that's right, massacre." The Black Bear spirit snorted coldly, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. Master is benevolent. If he wasn't forced, he would never give orders like this. Xiongyi smiled, but the smile on his face was cold. He replied, "However, we lost more than half of our Fortune Gate's disciples in this battle. Do you think the Fortune Gate's disciples you brought will show mercy?" "Kill, kill, kill." The Black Bear spirit understood and shouted, "Massacre by Qingyu." Naturally, there was no need for the Black Bear spirit to say the word kill. The Fortune Gate's disciples from the Shunhua continent flew over and saw the corpses on the ground. There was no lack of humans among them. Their eyes had long turned red. The lightning above the lightning boats were like swords, while the treasures below the boats were like blades. The blades and swords fell on by Qingyu's demonic beasts, reaping their lives every time. The demonic beasts' lives and blood were washing away the humiliation they had inflicted on Daoist Xiao. While Zhai Xingzi, Xiong Yi, Ao Shang, and Ao Zhantian were ecstatic to have escaped death, the 3 beast kings and the group of demonic beasts near by Qingyu's heavenly dam water prison were in a predicament. These demonic beast clansmen who were gulping down wine, meat, and slaughtering demonic beasts as appetizers laughed heartily when they saw the appearance of the 200,000 Fortune Gate disciples. They thought that it was another free meal. However, when they saw the Fortune Gate disciples slaughtering the demonic beast clansmen, destroying by Qingyu's demonic beast formation like a hot knife through butter, and the 2 lightning ships approaching the heavenly dam water prison, they were dumbfounded. "My eyes aren't playing tricks on me, right?" Peng Jun looked at the light screen in disbelief and released his primordial sense. His primordial sense swept across the battlefield like a mountain. The killing intent of the hundreds of thousands of disciples almost destroyed his primordial sense. Peng Jun couldn't help but ask. And I Quan was also dumbfounded. Could it be that the Dao Gate's cultivators from the hidden immortal continent are all here for Daoist Xiaohua? How is that possible? Bai Qing's body flashed with a 5-colored halo as he replied coldly, "Even the entire hidden immortal continent can't have so many high-level cultivators, right? Then where did these humans come from? It seems like we didn't receive any information at all, right?" Peng Jun frowned. "Ha ha ha, who cares where they came from?" Bai Qing laughed loudly. "Right now, not only do we have Bai Qingyu's demonic beasts, but we also have the demonic beasts from Shrouding Sky Ridge and Ancient Bell Mountain. Why would we be afraid of these hundreds of thousands of humans? Do you think these demonic beasts in front of us are pushovers? I originally thought that this would be a feast, and these human cultivators were merely appetizers. Who would have thought that they would actually become a feast? Brothers. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.